We are up, we are up, we are up, we are up, we are up. Oh, I am blessed today. The blessing is just so much. I have to share with you. I'm telling y'all, I am so blessed. I am blessed. Into Media Network Natalie. We are here. If you can hear clearly, if you can hear me clearly, no glitch. And no tonight. Go, the blessing is just too much for me. I have to share and share and share and share with you. Don't jealous me. My people, do not jealous me. Yes, I am so happy. Thank you all very much. We are up, we are up, we are up. The moment I always say, this is it. This election, this is it. People like us, you and me, we were not paying attention. We don't have a voice. We don't even care. We let our old people go, our older people go vote and come back. You know, when they say we float with it. And the nation is ours, as I usually say. This nation is ours. We have to build that nation the way we want it, for better. We have been third world. When are we going to be first world? So we have to start from up down. The election is here, December 4th. That's why I always say, follow the content of Media Network, and the Bantaba Kachala, as usual. Coming at the mass or the mass. Nasodo the financial to come in, roll out your vote, your voice. Saturday support is 6 o'clock Gambia time. I can join with one political catado on the Timbuktu on the crowd. But B. Atoma Satala, Latin too. That is such a debate and you're not more civilized. Alpha civilized. Antibody of a syringe. Oley Dibba, she's right here in the building. UDP la jaton kola. Arata fem folali. Nana basatala. Nali JP Daria, no brother. UDP This is it. This is the end of the road. Yes. Party leader control number, congratulate la. Bafala Kubutu. Red carpet of Nafinel. This is it. We are in. Assalamu alaikum. Auntie Oley?
Walaikum salam.
Auntie Oley, you are welcome to Binto Media Network. I am so humbled and privileged to be here, giving us this opportunity.
Equally the same for me as well. I'm truly humbled. And when Saidily reached out, I did not hesitate. So I'm really excited to be here
yes.
and to join you, the platform, and the viewers as well. It's such an honor for me. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Brother Saidily, you are also welcome, as usual, and you will always be here as far as we are here. Okay? So you can say hi to them.
Yeah, abaraka bintu mbe kontona baki. Assalamu alaikum. Mafufolo awuzugula nasidan rajim ka ila esteemed audience or maybe been to Bantaba network come back. I'm also honored to be here together with a senior lady, UDP Deputy Senior Administrative Secretary Oley Dibba Wada. So Nathan Danguila audience alma like Yafo Nyaming. It's a day for us. Just coming a day after when His Excellency Abubakar Numukuna Dabo was nominated yesterday alongside with other presidential candidates. So, well, it couldn't come at a better time for us to be here. Thank you.
Auntie Oley, I'm gonna
Yes.
be a little bit biased today. So Saidily, we're gonna hold on to him a little bit because Auntie Oley, we want you to give us a brief explanation about yourself. Who is Auntie Oley? Well, some will say, don't say Auntie Oley, but Mrs. Oley Dibba Wada. But I'll continue
No,
saying
no.
Auntie Oley.
Oli is fine. Oli is
Okay,
fine. Oli is
okay.
fine. Yes, yeah.
Yeah,
And,
give us a
mhm.
little explanation about you.
Well, I mean, Oli is Gambian. I'm born and raised by Gambian parents, and raised in actually a multi-religious family. My mother, until she passed away, was Christian. My dad was Muslim, and so had that experience of living in in a multi-religious family. Also worked in the Gambia here, went to school here, primary school, high school, before heading off for further studies in the UK. A mother of 4 children, married, have been working in the international arena, and finally decided to come back home in 2019 to also be more actively engaged on Gambian initiatives and engaging in the political arena. I think first of all, foremost, coming was more engaging in politics. And that's one of the main reasons why I came back home. But in a nutshell, I also am an author. I am a mentor. I mentor a lot of young boys and girls inside the UDP, outside the UDP, even before I joined the UDP. I'm a certified life coach as well. I'm an author of Memoirs of an African Woman on a Mission, and I'm also a public speaker. I think that sums it up. I mean, I know some people, not everybody knows me, but in summary, this is who I am.
Auntie, in our Gambian culture, women women are not into politics. It's just nowadays that we see them here and there. Why do you decide, with all your accomplishments, you said, well, let me go home? You were not just say, okay, I'm selfish, I will stay here in UK here and do what I need to do for me and my family. And you say, let me go home and do politics. Why politics?
I think, Binta, thank you so much for that question. I think it's important. For me, one of the triggers was that even when I was in Gambia, I was supporting a lot of young people financially, and as I mentioned, as a mentor, as a coach, helping also to get them employment in different institutions, helping them also apply for university courses, and a lot of things. But I think for me, one of the key areas was that it is not sustainable. Over 25 years, you're helping families, you're helping people, you're sending money. We all see the GoFundMes that go on. We all saw what happened during the impasse. People reaching out to the diaspora and engaging. And for me, I think I had mentioned in quite a number of interviews, the trigger for me was the day President Adama Barrow was going to the UN General Assembly and decided to charter a private plane. And this is like the same year that he came into office. It's the same year that we were all crying and complaining that our coffers in the Gambia government was completely empty. And that hit me. Honestly, that hit me, because I was like, how can we be doing this when we said this government inherited an empty bank, nothing, and then we still want to justify hiring or renting a private jet or a plane or whatever. What was that message? What did that mean? And for me, that was a trigger. And I remember I called my late mom. I called my mom and I was complaining. And she said to me, I mean, the reason we get this type of political leaders because people like yourselves don't want to go into politics and say, I don't do politics. And she said to me, so don't tell me rubbish. And my mom was my best friend. We were very close and we talk about things. And so she hung up on me and she said to me, well, this is what we will get. Because everybody keeps saying, I don't do politics. Politics is dirty. Politics is this. And that was a wake-up call for me. And it triggered my thinking now on that. A lot of people had invited me saying, go join politics, to run for office. Today, I'm glad I did not run for office as an independent person. I didn't go out on my own. I am glad I did that. And I believe that I prayed over this. I fasted over this. And I have been vindicated in some ways, because I never tried it, but I definitely came home to go into politics. And for me, it was that it's time we start coming. I know Gambia and a lot of African countries are not ready for women coming in. I know that. But we cannot be saying Gambia is not ready, Gambia is not ready, if we do not come out. Not everybody can be a president. But I think what is important is to come out and engage in politics. We all do politics at home, at school, at work, in the bus, in the train. We do politics. So I think for me, it was fundamental to come home and be part of the change that I want to see. Less of talking and complaining, and more of coming, rolling sleeves, going into the trenches and engaging at grassroots. And that was it. So I joined the UDP, and it took a lot for me to go and make a decision to join the UDP. And that's why for me, I say, yes, I'm in the party. I don't do flip-flops. I'm not here to change from one party to the other, because before I joined the UDP, I really, really did my homework. I had a lot of deep conversations with myself and went into joining the party. I am now having a lot of conversations and engaging with women to come into politics. But the stereotype that we get of women going into politics, we saw what happened to Marisok. We saw what happened to Rohi Malik Lowe. I know that if I was going to go independent, I would benefit. I would go through the same process like all these women have gone through, and it instills fear in women. We are supposed to be, protected and nurtured by the men and our own women as well. But I can tell you one thing: for a woman going into politics is lonely. It is very, very lonely, because you will lose friends on the way. You will lose relatives on the way, because sometimes people want you to join a particular party that they feel is the right one, not necessarily what you want. And it involves also consultations with families and so on. So for me, I am grateful. I got the blessing of my mother before she passed. My dad was never around to see this. For my dad, I am a technocrat, and I will always be a technocrat. I got the blessing from my husband, my children, my family, my siblings. I had to consult a lot of people who were important in my life to say, I am going to quit my job, and which was a high-paying job, and with all the perks and benefit. And this means that even, going into politics, there's no guarantee that, there's work or anything, but I'm going. And that means I will not be I will not be earning a regular income anymore. There's a lot of things that it comes with. But I think for me, it was saying that I wanted to do this for Gambia. I can live outside. My family, my children are all outside. I didn't have to do this. I can live comfortably. But I have a lot of adopted children here. I have a lot of relatives here. I also want to come back. At that time, I was like, I would want to come back home to a place where I feel comfortable. And and the past 27 years in this country, we have lived in fear. We had lived in lack of trust among each other. Families have been divided, and I think it was time that we come home and engage in politics, directly or indirectly. And again, not everybody can do politics. Not everybody does politics, but I think people need to engage in politics with politicians. And what I have learned over the past couple of years that I've engaged in politics, it is not for the faint-hearted. One, two, it is not child's play. Three, I am glad, like I said, I joined UDP, because what I am learning now, I'm still at kindergarten. The realities on the ground, and I think I've learned so much joining the party and engaging in politics and with politicians from other parties as well. So for me, going into politics was more of a national duty than anything else. So it wasn't about family. It wasn't about wanting to earn something. It was about a duty, but also looking at something more sustainable than always just sending remittances throughout. So that's one of the triggers. But also the country has hit rock bottom. And I think we all need to come back and make sacrifices. People make sacrifices, financial and in different ways. But I think it was important for me personally to come back home and really engage in the trenches and work and engage in politics. And that was my wish, my desire. And this happened, or this decision happened at the end of 2018. And here I am today in towards the end of 2021. So
Gambia is also yearning for a female leader, and we know if a woman have the opportunity to be in that state house, there will be a whole lot of difference. But just like you said, it's lonely. It's just not an easy road for women, because some women, most Gambians are saying they're not ready for women leadership. But with this, how can women step up and make a difference, either in the leadership or behind or in parliament? Or we have to have a voice in decision making. Yes.
And we need to take baby steps. I mean, one thing I have learned in life, nothing is going to be given to you on a silver platter, Binta.
Okay.
Everything you have to work for, you have to earn. Sometimes we tend to have this attitude of entitlement. But I can tell you, for us as women, over the how many years now we have been fighting for women's rights, and we continue to fight. That just shows that it's not a one-day initiative or project. It's something that is an ongoing thing. And if you're not 100% passionate about it, you will fall through the cracks, because there will always be obstacles all throughout the way. A lot of young women have now reached out. They want to engage in politics. They're scared. They're really scared. Some say, if I go into politics, I'll never get married. I mean, maybe these are the people who, for them, the priority is getting married. Others say, I cannot go into politics because of family. My family doesn't want me to. But they really do want to engage. I think maybe getting now the Rohi Malik laws, getting the Marisoks, myself, a lot of women coming out and engaging in politics, not as cheerleaders, not as, beyond that, but engaging in hardcore politics and involving in strategies, in grassroots engagements. They also, these young women, to bring them on board, it requires mentorship. Some of them don't have role models to look up to in the political sphere that can hold their hand and say, it's okay. Quite a number of young girls I am mentoring right now. They've already, thrown their hats in the political arena, but they experience a lot of challenges and frustration. And when these things happen and you turn around and you don't see anybody who can say, I am behind, it's okay, keep going. If you fall down, get up, dust up, and let's get on. They will be scared. So I think it's important for us to make sure we get more older women in politics, supporting, encouraging, hand-holding, mentoring, and coaching young women, so that we are able to build a momentum for women to go into politics. I have seen President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, who is my mentor, when she won the Nobel Peace Prize and the Mo Ibrahim Award, she decided that she was going to invest that money on women in political leadership. And that funds, she used it. They identified 15 women across the continent. I was one of those who were identified, and she took us to Monrovia. We were introduced to former heads of state. We are being mentored by very influential women leaders, global leaders. We have interactions with them. But these 15 women, the first cohort that they identified were women, the female mayors, myself, women in high positions, but trying to get these women to go in the highest public office. It doesn't have to be the president. It could be a member of parliament. It could be a mayor. It could be anything. But she wanted, and she said that her legacy was to make sure more women go into politics. And she wanted to start mentoring, coaching young women who are already who have already demonstrated indications of being interested in politics. We have the second cohort now of young women that President Johnson Sirleaf has initiated. Tumanjai from the Gambia is now part of that second cohort of women. So I think it's important that these kind of initiatives happen, because we build a momentum as women together. We cry on each other's shoulders. We've got each other's back. And like I said, it's lonely. So if you do not have that support network, when there's a gap, you fall through those cracks. And I think we should be trying to do more of that in the Gambia. But our culture is a little different. And women that go into politics are perceived differently. Unfortunately, that's how it is in our culture. And that's how it is in most African countries. But I mean, it's not a reason for us to despair. We need to keep going. I know that people like myself may never live to see the benefits of what it is we are trying to look out for. But I think that in the long run, generations yet unborn will benefit from the sacrifices that these women that have come forward in trying to engage in politics and bringing them forward. So I think we need to have a strong network. There's a lot of fragmentation in the Gambia. A lot of women don't trust each other. Everybody wants to do their little thing in silos, and that makes it even more difficult. The advantage the men have is when a man stands, they support you. When a woman wants to come out and makes a decision that this is where I want to go or this path, people tend to say, okay, well, it's not the path I wanted, so I cannot, I don't want to get engaged. And I don't think that should be the attitude. I think we need to collectively come together, irrespective of our political differences, irrespective of our ideologies, and make sure that we also start supporting the younger generation to engage in politics. This is what we are trying to do in UDP now. Start engaging, identifying young youths, both men and women, who have interest in the highest political office under a UDP banner. And we start mentoring them, coaching them, training them, preparing them. That would now be the transition process of a UDP. So that after Ousainou Darboe, we have all these young people that would be ripe, ready to come and go out and engage in politics. And then we would be ready to say, okay, now we have 15 or we have 12 or we have 10 potential presidential candidates inside the UDP that we can choose from any, and they can go out and go through an election process and be ready to engage. So that's the plan we have. I have discussed it with the party leader, and he embraced that initiative. And I think we would want to do that so that we are ready for a succession plan and a transition. I know a lot of people have been asking party leader, what is the transition plan for UDP after Ousainou Darboe? And I think we need to start looking at that. Those of us who are older, and for me, I am more interested in coaching and mentoring and building future leaders than actually even going into that leadership position. Okay. And we started thinking on the framework on what that would look like for us to have a succession plan, a transition of identifying leaders. And when UDP wins, for the next 50 years, it would be UDP, 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 UDP. By that time, we would have built, trained, coached, mentored enough leaders that IEC will not be able to disqualify. And that, for me, would be my legacy inside UDP. So that's what we would do. More emphasis on young women. I mean, that would be, for me, something I would want to do and leave behind in UDP.
So under UDP government, this will be your main advocacy under the UDP government. And what else?
Not necessarily under UDP government, but under UDP as a party.
Okay.
But for me, we want to get more women in political leadership, in government official positions, in leadership positions inside the UDP, in parliament, and so on and so forth. We have a quota system, and we are vigorously pulling out more women to go in these positions and to engage in these positions. I think inside the UDP, over 30, almost 40% are women. in UDP, in the executive. We have quite a number of very proactive young women also in the youth initiative, in the UDP youth programs, both at the students wing and the youth wing. But I think we need to start building a momentum. I don't know about other parties, what they're doing, but at UDP, we really want to start identifying the creme de la creme of UDP and start preparing them for the long run, the future of presidency, preparing them to speak, how to speak in public, how to engage at grassroots level, how to come up with strategies, policies, vision of where they want to take the country. These are some of the things that we want to prepare these young people inside the UDP.
Yeah. All right, Auntie, before we continue with the UDP now in detail, with all political parties, why do you decide to choose the UDP, United Democratic Party?
Maybe I should ask you that question. Why not UDP? Why should I not go to UDP?
Well, we have so many political parties, and yes, you could have your own political party as well. Yes. So why UDP? That's why I asked the question.
For me, I had ideas, I had initiatives, I had vision. I mean, whether people like it or not, UDP is one party that has been in existence. I think UDP has been in existence for over 25 years. Okay, UDP's leadership for me, the humility of the leadership for me was fundamental. For me, the structures, UDP already had structures in place. UDP already had the grassroots. It didn't make sense for me to go and set up my own party when something else existed. And I thought the best thing for me would be go into that party, given their ideologies. I believe in social democracy. UDP is a social democratic party. I also liked the concept of their grassroots engagement. I think that was a big attraction for me. They have a solid grassroots engagement. Also, the commitment of the UDP membership and militants. I keep saying that a lot of people that come to UDP and leave UDP are probably people who were in other parties, came, saw, didn't like, and went back. But what I did see in UDP membership and militants, they are there for the long run, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And you cannot shift them. And their loyalty is unquestionable. That you have to give it to them, whether you like them or you don't like them. UDP's members, their loyalty is unquestionable. I admired that in them. The fact that, having gone through all the challenges that they have gone through, and in spite of that, they still remain forceful. They challenge the status quo against all odds. And I think, for me, it was an opportunity to go in. People told me not to join UDP, and I've said it on so many platforms. And people said to me, this UDP is the problem, UDP is the cancer. And for me, I was like, okay, if they are the cancer, they are the problem. I want to go in and see what I can do and be part of the change that I want to see. And so I engage. And I can tell you one thing, I have no regrets. Yes, in everything you do, you have ideas, people have different ideas, but you come together and see how you can complement each other's ideas. But for me, inside joining the UDP has been the best lesson that I have learned, not just in politics, but learn interaction with people. When people have different camps, different ideologies, how you manage that, how you go in grassroots and you engage with people, the strategy and policy campaign team, the amount of work we put together, burning the midnight candle, talking throughout the night, engaging with the diaspora. If I tell you how much the diaspora are a dictator to UDP on the ground, you cannot believe. The number of calls I get, you have to do this, UDP, you make sure we do this, make sure we get it right. They were so concerned, so passionate, and they're ready to call you in the middle of the night with their fears and say, we have to make sure this happens so that we do not, everybody felt that they had a responsibility in that party to engage. It didn't look like a party for me that people came to look for opportunities. It was a party of where we are all in this together. And I admired that about the party. So, and I joined the party because of all those reasons. If he didn't work out, within 6 months, I would have left the party. And that was my plan. My plan was go in, engage with UDP. If you really feel that you cannot engage with them, quit. And a lot of people were waiting for me to quit UDP. And today, mashallah, I mean, we are one family. We work together, we engage together, we share ideas together. And I think that's the beauty of, you know, looking at a common interest and a common group for a common good.
We are giving our congratulations to you, party leader, and the entire UDP family for yesterday's nomination. And he was qualified. IEC said, boom. He was the first name that they announced, Honorable Hussein. How was the momentum when you hear that?
We were in Nyomi Kanuma. I was in Nyomi Kanuma meeting some communities. And at that time, I was with the deputy party leader. I was with the Auntie Mayandur, the one of the wives of the party leader, and a few other colleagues of the UDP executive. And so, but the thing is, let me go back to the few days before that, when rumors were going out that he didn't qualify, he didn't this. And, you know, it wasn't until actually the night before that I got a little bit of panic in me. But all that time, I was like, listen, UDP has, the leadership of UDP is a constitutional lawyer for me. 2, UDP, I don't know of any party that has the number of lawyers, legal team in the Gambia, or in politics, I mean, like the UDP. And if Lawyer Dabo was not going to qualify, surely we would have known that, and he would not have come forward if he knew he didn't qualify. That was the first thing for me. The second thing, people saying he did not qualify, they said this, they said that. I argued and said, if UDP, if a lawyer Hussein Dabo was a vice president in the Gambia, and they said he disqualified, he didn't qualify, what would that mean? As a vice president then, if anything happened to the president at that point in time, he would have had to be the president. So if he didn't qualify, then why did they put him in as president or as vice president? So for me, the dots did not connect. And I feel, I remember on the nomination day when we came out, one of the media people asked me, so what is it when people say Hussein Dabo does not qualify? And I said, where did you hear that? And she said, oh, from, you know, there's new media, social media. And I say, we have to be careful what we believe and what we listen to. And I think for me, a caution to people who are actively engaged on media, social media that is sharing information. A lot of us rely on you for dedicated, committed information and data. And I can tell you one thing with Hussein Dabo. If we heard something and you tell him, he will tell you, bring me evidence. And a lot of this information, I know people get excited and there's usually a rush to come out with information first.
Breaking news.
I think as people who are engaging in the media need to realize that a lot of us rely on them for information, for data, and for verification. So if they come with false information over time, it could be problematic. What happened 3-4 days ago could have created a huge catastrophe in this country. And we should not allow something like that to happen. When I heard the news that the party leader has been confirmed that he will be able to run, we were in Nyomi. And I remember I was just about to take the podium to speak. And then the entertainer started, and I started dancing. I danced, and I said to him, I'm sorry for this. I have two banner today. Just had this news. Please allow me just to be a normal human being as opposed to being a particular person that people perceive. So I was like,
and a video.
Yeah.
We're gonna find the video.
You
Don't
bring it here,
worry.
we'll bring it out. Everybody was shocked with me. I was dancing, I was jumping, I was on a high. So that was the excitement. And in the end, we were so in a hurry to get back to Bara to cross, and because we were told that pipeline was on fire right now. So we were rushing to get there so that we could be part of the ambience. But by the time we got there, we were so tired. I mean, I've still lost my voice, because of the whole week of so many activities. But I danced my quota. I sang my quota. I made so much noise in that place. They were wondering whether this was the person that we have just adopted as a mother. I was a completely different person. So it will come out, and I'm sure social media will see it.
Auntie, you dance more than the children.
Yeah, that was the indication for me of Saihou Dabo has been vindicated.
Yes,
and all of us that knew saw this coming, and it happened. So when the party leader, when we were in pipeline and he walked in and I saw him, I burst out crying. So he hugged me, and I couldn't take it anymore. I cried until I was starting to feel sick, and that's when I just decided, let me go home and rest. So that was my reaction to the news.
But still, Gambians are saying, okay, thank you. Gambians are saying IEC does not interpret the law. Among the 6 candidates, any citizen can go to the courts and challenge anything. Is UDP ready for such challenges days to come?
UDP, like I said, UDP has a team of legal minds. Saihou Dabo himself is a legal person. And I don't think any party that is going to contest any illegalities would be as prepared as the United Democratic Party. Because if Saihou Dabo walks into a courtroom supported behind by the list of the number of lawyers that will stand with him, I mean, they would not, I mean, the question of whether we are ready or not would not even come on the table. We are more than ready, but we also know that whatever it is that is taken there, we know what the implications and the consequences are. And we knew this was going to happen. And we are happy, we are relieved against all odds that Saihou Dabo has been vindicated.
Okay. So Saidily, you can chip in on that question. The congratulations, and if UDP government will be ready for any challenges ahead, if anybody file any challenges. They say among the six candidates, any citizen could go to the courts and challenge.
Yeah, Bintu Abaraka.
Yeah, you do it.
It's always refreshing listening to Oley. So
yes,
really enjoying sitting down here quietly.
I will go find that video where she was.
Yeah,
I will make sure we send it to Saidily, and so that you guys can get it.
Yeah, send it to me. I'll play it on Bantaba. I'll play it on Bantaba.
Yeah, I was on a high. I was on a natural high.
Interesting. Bintu, this is
yes.
Like we're all sitting down now that this is a thing of the past. Obviously, it created a lot of anxiety. Coming only after Nyaming. I spoke on this issue multiple times, just like you did. You spoke to like Yankuba Dabo. UDP manke party ndare patiti. Like the intellectual cream in UDP is unmatchable in Gambia. I'm not being arrogant, but that's a hard fact. We have, stream of lawyers, highly qualified lawyers. But let me also say something more. Maybe Oley is aware of this. UDP did its work, consulted even lawyers outside UDP. 3 prominent lawyers were consulted, and they were not like, it wasn't like they brought them together. They were consulted separately, and all of them said one thing: there's nothing in the constitution that disqualifies lawyer Dabo. So we were like, for example, we're comfortable. In fact, this thing never bothered me. And I have said, like Oley said, you know what? I think sometimes we like to unnecessarily create drama, or like unnecessarily bring issues that are not non-issues. Because if somebody could be vice president of the Gambia, served as the vice president of the Gambia, logically, what's going to stop that person from being a candidate for presidency? So, but again, unfortunately, not political right now. NPP people started creating this noise. Psychologically, probably they thought it was an advantage to affect the spirit of UDP supporters, to weaken their spirit, because this is, politics is about psychological warfare as well. You bring psychological warfare to try to weaken your opponent. So they played this strategy, and it landed. It fell in. They got some of our people. This is the thing, because when you are trying to win psychological warfare, what you do is you try to spread a false narrative. So I, for one, and I know Oley and everybody, most people got a lot of calls. I got 2 days ago, my phone kept ringing. I know one lady in the US, she's a prominent UDP supporter, and she contributes massively to UDP donation-wise. In fact, Amam Mevon, contributed thousands of dollars in the fundraising, one of the chapters in the US. A panic tale, among suitors, Ikoye lawyer that was disqualified. And I had to calm her down to say, Mero, Tete, me, there's nothing in the 1997 Constitution that would disqualify Lawyer Dabo. And the saddest thing is one thing, the advice that Oley is giving, we are careful. It's one thing to agitate, Barrow and his people are working on ways to disqualify one thing, but it's another thing to authoritatively state, because this person will not be disqualified. There's a big variance between the two. If you say something, that's no news here. We all know for the past 1 year, even when the draft constitution issue was being discussed, Binto, they said the reason why Barrow didn't want the draft constitution to go through, because they thought 1997 constitution will be disqualified. So this is no news. We know NPP have been working on this, so that's no news. That's not something new here. If it amplified, the message amplified near a denomination day, but we know that they were working on trying to do. But again, just to answer your question, UDP was on standby to deal with that issue meticulously, and not only that, we could also go after Barrow. Yeah, understand it. We could also go after Barrow. We didn't want to create that problem, but if they file something in the courts, we will file something against Barrow, and then the courts will have to decide. Yeah, understand it, because we got something on Adama as well, but we don't want to take the cat out of the bag. So we have somehow given this green light to the NPP. Allow them behave. Let's go to the polls on December 4th. Let the Gambians decide whether it's going to be Adama Barrow or Halifa Sallah or Mama Kande or Adama Barrow or Oshino Dabo. Let the Gambians have that decision. But to try to take Section 26 of the Gambian Constitution is very clear. Every Gambian citizen, Momo Lafita, you want to go up for a political position or whatever, it's your right. It's your fundamental right. So Absolutely. You cannot just disqualify, and no judge or high court judge will just take a decision out of sentiments. They have to base it on law. Judges take decision based on law. More man understand. A judge can they are human beings like us. Maybe they can have their favorites inside them, just like any profession. But they would be professionals. They would have to take a decision purely based on the Constitution. So there was no need for panic. Unnecessarily, this created pandemonium and it created commission. Just like Oley said, she was all okay until 2 days ago when she definitely got panic. And I, for one, to be honest, I have to be strong. I never got panic, even when I saw that message. In fact, a strong member of UDP in Germany called me. Oh, not call Lesotho from Gambia. You know that rumor was also out. They will put the military out. I told her there is no element of truth in that. Adama Barrow government will not send the military out in the streets, because Nyanda may understand that Oley is here, Oley work in the diplomatic field, Oley alone at the level of the international organization. Gambia, we have been watched by other countries. So Adama Barrow
and they've been reaching out. They have reached out to me.
Exactly. They are not crazy. Because soldier will Funtindi just because of nomination, then ECOWAS is looking at them, AU will be looking at them, and they will say, you know what, even Jammeh never did that throughout his 22 years. I've never seen on nomination the way Jammeh put the military out in the street. So why would Adama Barrow do that? But you see, the problem is this breaking news fever. I hope it will dwindle. Now that we have less than 30 days to elections, like the party leader said, let's focus on the campaign. Everybody wants to give breaking news, but sometimes be careful. It's not about what you want to say, but how it will have impact. But sometimes Namolu, they are very difficult to talk to because they think, yes, they have an agenda to promote, but sometimes it can be a cost-benefit analysis. Okay, if you want to put a message out there, what would the impact of this on the voters, on my supporters? Think of that as well. But I think Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin, now all these people have been nominated. Of course, the leeway is still there. If somebody wants to file against the nomination of Oley Dibba, the courts are there, but we have a very strong legal team. Also, and Dolphana, we could also file a case against Adama Barrow or any other candidate. So, because now I think the target here is Dabo. Nobody is talking about Halifa Saleh, whether Halifa Saleh is qualified, Mama Kane. I think this all issues about Oley Dibba. So, but Binto, we are fully ready to deal with the situation.
Okay. Auntie, before we move on, please give that strong advice to media, your party followers, Gambians at large. That breaking news, because the country at a fragile position right now, breaking news can cause terrible issue in the country. Send that strong advice to us.
I think, thank you, Binta. I think we have to be careful what we wish for on each other, because it doesn't matter. Whatever it is that we wish for somebody negative will have trickle effect on all of us. This country is just too small and we are too interrelated and intertwined for us to allow false information to character assassinate or to mess up somebody. We have to be very careful. I know, as young people get excited and get carried away. But we have to be very careful. And I have a lot of respect for the media. The media can actually make or break you. And this is why it is fundamentally important for us to make sure that when we convey out messages, we have to be very careful what comes out. If that was true, UDP has a spokesperson. We have Almamital.
Yeah,
we would have come out and said it.
Yeah,
all of us have engaged on public virtual platforms. We have all engaged. We would have all come out. Everybody, people have their social media platforms. Members of the executive, we would have come out and we would have said it. And I think in future, let us verify, let us authenticate data and information before we go out, because it is very sensitive. And as Lu all of the wa Saihou dega wa yahana hell. And in this instance, whoever had instigated this, I don't know whether the information came from outside or inside. Just to remember, if you are on the outside, your family is here. We are all here. Whatever happens, there are a lot of people who would have nowhere to go if something like this turned out differently. So please, we have less than a month to go. Let us make sure that what is coming out is factual, is relevant, is important, and even for us UDP, whatever it is we are responding to going forward between now and December 4th, let us make sure that it is something that is relevant to UDP, our agenda going forward. Right now, all hands are on deck. We want to move forward. We want to focus on the campaign. We want to start preparing on how we move forward. We cannot afford to mess up. We cannot afford to mess up. What is going to happen between now and December 4th? Every single Gambian life depends on this. So let us be careful and avoid getting too excited and too carried away to the point where in trying to do no harm, we end up doing harm. And this is an appeal to all the media platforms, both UDP and non-UDP. Let us work for the greater good. Gambia is bigger than any party, any individual, and any media house. We should not be talking about competition right now, but we should be focusing on what it is that we can do for Gambians moving forward. And maybe I will, if there's an opportunity, I want to talk on that, particularly as we toured around the country, visiting almost 77 communities and heading back next weekend to go on the full official tour as well. This is not a joke. We cannot be sitting behind our laptops, our keyboards, and messing up with people's lives. I remember when we went on this tour and we went to one community. And when I saw how people lived there and we slept there, we engaged with them, we ate with them, I cried. And I remember Uncle Kemesengame saying to me, "Are you sure you're a politician? You know, every community we go to, you get emotional and you cry." And for me, I got emotional because I cannot believe that in the year 2021, people should be living under such conditions. Whilst here in the urban areas, people are competing on so many different things that have no relevance to people's lives and livelihoods. It affected me mentally, watching women struggling, looking at people whose communities that have been completely cut off from the rest of the world, people, what they're struggling to eat with their children. It hurt. It hurt. I was honestly, I will tell you, I was angry. I was angry because I feel that there is a huge disconnect between what is happening in these communities and what is happening here on the ground. And we need to make sure we do right by these people. We have been taking a lot of notes. I remember Kamaraba saying to me, "Everywhere we go, you are taking notes." And I kept saying, "I didn't come here to play. I didn't come here to sing and dance. I came here to take notes and to listen to what these people are telling us, so that when we go, we can strategize on how we can help them." There is no magic bullet, but we need to be honest enough to know that we must prioritize putting the dignity of every Gambian family, protecting their dignity and their rights as individuals to have access to decent, clean water, where they live, where they sleep, what they eat, and their education system, especially the women.
Yes.
It is not funny that we can sit here and start playing games like this. I was very troubled, and but we hope over time we will be able to get over this and really make sure that we put Gambia and Gambians first before our own needs and desires.
Gambians have another concern about the IEC. The 2016 election, they counted presidential results 2 times. It was another chairman election between GDC and UDP in I think it's Mansa Conco. They read the results was read twice. They said GDC win and UDP said they won the thing. So errors like that, what does IEC need to do, or what advice do you have for them? Because our life is in their hands right now. Yes, it's very.
Well, I am not an expert, and I don't even ever claim to be an expert on electoral systems. Within UDP, we have our own person, our own expert who is at the forefront. I don't know if you know him, Motsar, Uncle Motsar. He is the one who is the intermediary between the party and the IEC on anything relating to this elections, the Election Act, and all of that. We know IEC does not have the mandate on the Constitution and all of that and what it's required, but on the Election Act, obviously they have some say in that. But for me, I think there is no fixed answer. But I think over time we have learned on so many fronts. To err is human, and I keep saying it, and I don't want to talk about saying to err is human, and then I get another lash on social media for saying something similar or not saying that. But what I'm trying to get at is that like everybody else, the people in IEC are human beings, and whatever it is that they put out, I am not sure, given the sensitivity of this and the importance of this particular elections, December 2021, that IEC will allow things to fall through the cracks. We know and we've heard that some of these political parties have decided that those who didn't qualify or were told that they didn't qualify, that they are going to take it further to the next step. And that's what democracy is. And we, I think it is important if people feel that they do they have been unjustly judged, or that the electoral process did not go as they thought. That's why we have the courts, the law courts, and decisions being made. But for IEC, I wouldn't want to talk about something that I am not very familiar or au fait with. And so I would just want to say that I think whatever it is we do with decorum, we do with integrity, and that you cannot force integrity on anybody. You cannot force honesty and commitment and dedication to anybody. They will have to want to do it for themselves. And I trust the IEC's decisions on what they think and what they feel, but also if they have made errors, I am sure they will come out and confirm and verify that they have made errors. And for us, we need to accept that true error is human and it's normal. And hopefully, maybe things would change once some of these parties come forward and argue in favor of their positions as well.
Okay. Let me speak to the community. Hey, community, if you are coming late, we have a special guest. That's why I put her up and put the brother down here. Brother, you wait. You wait. We have...
He is one of our arms and legs. So, he's a very important person to us.
No, but I was I was here last week.
Yes, so he was here Sunday.
So he's a regular there.
Okay. Yeah, he's a regular visitor. Yeah.
Okay. Makes sense.
So we have Auntie Oley Dibba here, Mrs. Oley Dibba Wada, UDP Ko. She is here. Ayala time bela bula anata nimbe kachala jam. Mbe serious kachala nka for me this is it. Horomoni mbunyale bijam. Binto Media Network nal nita mo kutoti jan. Tola legacy momenti is respect. Horomanta ya malla fala na adminol be duma jele ni anendiroke je bye iteta be kontone. And we roll out a new show, your vote, your voice, every Saturday. Fanang alkana nyinam betarajang ni molube betarajang fojani election of betambila. Nko, I advise thee, nim breaking news, please. Alkana breaking news ke. Banko be dami nga be kande election wala ka banko da election wala ka banko tinya. Breaking news. You calm down. You can have something break me along I'm perfect. Anything me along IEC is responsible for it. You call ibinala leba follow moliela officially, then you can pick up from there. So abewa amaro le dika mobe la Gambia no be dauda. Nita be tubabu du iwulu nyol lebe Gambia. Iba wol lebe Gambia. Akai ibata kunjulo lebe Gambia. Imeta tubabu du nyaonya. Ikaf mandin kol ka for me. Doko se me ba kono nyaaw nyaane ne tela mala bamboti so wala na bo ya marol la jang and be continue la kachalale for agenda la time be banna but brother Saidily, you can come on in abe nyimmin fo kan IEC la kola please wokuma ta la jandim bitala UDP la 5-point agenda.
Yeah, Abaraka, I think mbe only la statement a kola, right? We have trust, as a party. I think we trust IEC unless they prove us wrong. Here and there, individual opinions can differ in regards to the IEC, but at the level of the political party, from the leadership down, the party leader is on record saying that he has confidence in IEC. So we from the party position, but again. Yamaro hani iko suose borinyaunya kalafa yarola o tanaya. You reference to facts ila memfojang the 2016 election, which landed Gambia into this political impasse. Jammeh initially considered defeat, but after when that IEC announced that they made a mistake, and Jammeh changed his mind, and that triggered Jammeh saying, "Oh, in fact, among IEC trust, we hope we will not be there on December 4th. IEC should do its work properly." In fact, there is no rush for them to just give the verdict. Let them take their time. We Gambians will patiently wait, maybe the next day, for the final results to be tabulated. It's better to do it that way than you rush, than you Kotenke, because that people then that will give room to somebody to say, well, I don't trust these results on that. We don't want to be in that situation. So I hope the IEC officials are listening, and Alaji Momanja and his team will do the right thing for our country, because this is a very important election for Gambia. Nobody should play with it, and IEC is aware of it. The stakes are very high. for these elections. So if they mess up, then they are Gambians like us. I don't think any of us love the Gambia more than Alaji Momar Jai. He's a bona fide citizen, and he has contributed immensely in the socioeconomic development of that country. So, and he did something, Mealanko. I've never seen any independent election chairman did it to preside over an election that saw the back of the dictator, and he had the audacity to announce the result against the dictator, So if he could do that in 2016, why not this time around? But you reference another mistake that he did. In fact, it was in CRR. It's not in LRR. It's not in Manchester. It's one of the CRR local government elections that they made a mistake. But UDP, we didn't want to press the button too hard because already we won most of the administrative seats, but that also created confusion. So we said, okay, let it go. GDC chairman won, but initially the result of announced was UDP won, and then they changed it, and they said GDC won. I think IC Nyanda will avoid Lale on this.
Thank you. I also think that the on-the-spot counting would really help. Every party should have a responsibility to make sure that they have people on the ground. I think the on-the-spot counting will make everybody's job a lot easier, and information would be live for everybody to see as information and data is coming. So that would also help, even though we had it in 2016. But I think it was a completely different scenario, and people were under pressure. People were scared. What if things did not change, and so on and so forth. And like Saidily said, I think this one would be different. But it is, I think, one of the most important elections in history, because it's a very decisive moment for us, and that's why the next 4 weeks is fundamentally crucial for us to make sure that we get things done right.
All right, now we will.
Before you do that, I just want to say something, because I'm also part of the media, and I think the advice you gave and buttressed by yourself, Bintu, for us to be careful. The media. No one is perfect here. You're all human beings, and mistakes are bound to happen sometime. But let's try to minimize those mistakes. Here and there, you will get things wrong. Even bigger, more conventional, media platforms like CNN, BBC. Sometimes some of the stories they can, but much more. When you rely on sources on the ground, but sometimes things that are things that can create tension in the country, be very careful before you break any news.
Verify. We must
verify. No matter how you trust your source. I was given an information last week, and it affected an individual, somebody in the diaspora, and I said, if I just went on my wall and wrote something, but later I checked with another source, Mealango is very close to the police, and that information was false, and the person told me this is not true. So that's a typical example. If I had written that on my wall, and I would affect the credibility of that person, and then the news came out to be false. So we have to be extremely careful. Double check. That is the message. And right now, like today, I saw Boubacar Siddiq Jammeh made a very good advice to the UDP members, saying, let's not allow detractors to distract us. Right now, let's focus. The 5-point agenda is there. The messaging is there. Of course, we have a lot to talk about, Barrow. Corruption, the use of the cocaine, the price of basic commodities. The Gambia debt burden has gone to 77 billion from 58 billion right now. SAP increase of 19 billion. This government. We have a lot of things to talk about in the next 4 weeks. So just to advise ourselves, myself, and yesterday, we all broke news about the 200 million Barrow. Now, when the facts came out, we realized that was not true.
Exactly.
Because Young's will clarify, Young's and Malagan and other people did a miscalculation. So we will take that back. Now, officially say Barrow's assets is 50 million, and some of this thing. But because Young's is a very credible person, and he's a lawyer, so he made that. But he is also human, and then he went out and said, well, and all is because, and you cannot blame people like Youngs for that 100%. If President Barrow did what Oley Dibba did, then we would not have in that situation. Oley Dibba shared his thing with the media houses, but this will have to go to that public scrutiny. and they were given 5 minutes to check. And a lot of people, when they are focus their attention on President Barrow, because already people knew what Dabo's assets and SRFAL and Dr. Cisse. So they were giving 5 minutes just to go through that paperwork. So what mistakes are unavoidable. But we want to take that back now. The official position is that Adama Barrow assets is 50 million. I want to say that here on record. So let's talk about this 200 million. So we broke that news based on what we were told, from the Gambia. But these things can happen. So lessons learned there.
I think the emphasis for you, Saidily, and those of you on the UDP media, let's start looking at when we're talking about information. If we're focusing on President Adama Barrow, let's talk about what he hasn't done, and versus what UDP will offer. Exactly. That's more constructive, because then we are able to compare rather than just come and paste data or information from somebody else as part of the media and say, I got it from here. Even if that person is credible and put it there, you verify. But I think we should make sure that if we are talking, let's base our information and knowledge based on facts. And my appeal to all UDP online media platforms is, let us focus on what UDP is going to offer, what UDP is going to bring on the table. And I think what is fundamental for us is to continue to focus on the importance of why our principal is the right candidate for people to vote for. That's what we should be doing now. That's what we should put all our energy on. What is it that we are offering? Because right now, those who are going to vote for UDP have decided. It's not going to
decided
change.
A long time ago.
But we do have a constituency that we need to convince, who are sitting on edge, who may have actually wanted to support one of those 14 parties that is that may not go forward, and is thinking of which of these 6. And this is the time that I would appeal to all of you to help us to sell the UDP agenda, to brand the UDP as a party, and to brand our principle. Focus on that. It's just under 4 weeks. If we put all our energy on that, right now, for those of us who are on the ground, we are starting now house to house, door to door grassroots campaigning going forward. So we need to make sure that the messages that we are doing is packaging, selling our principle, selling our agenda, and avoid being distracted. There will be a lot of those coming, and we don't have time to be counter or not counter. Let's focus on what they have to offer, and they didn't, and what we will counter and offer. I think that would be important.
Thank you, Oley.
Our media houses to engage with.
Oh, he always, one thing I like about him, when he make a mistake also, he will come out and apologize. I'm obvious about that. That's why I will go back and listen to him. Saihou Saidily is good at that. He will apologize.
That's how it should be.
Before we move on, Gambians, they are saying UDP, when they came out with 5-point agenda, they roll it. The moment you roll it out, it was a game changer for good for UDP. We want you to give us a rundown through that 5-point agenda very quick. Yes. Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much, Binto. I think for us, one of the key things, the reasons why the party decided that we want to focus on not necessarily just on those 5-point agenda, but really put a lot of priority and emphasis on that, is that just like I have said, when we went out into these communities and we saw how people lived, what is reflected in the 5-point agenda is exactly what we have been seeing out there in the different communities. The issues of youth unemployment is huge. You go to certain communities.
Binto, sorry, I didn't want to break the protocol, but reading the comments, some of our audience are suggesting if Oley can speak in Wolof instead of English.
Okay. We have done a lot of English. Yes. Wolof. Go ahead. No problem. Yes.
Okay, okay. So comme li ma doon wax mooy ñun UDP li tax ñu génnee 5-point agenda yi te bokk na ak li ma waxoon bi ma waxee ne dañ doon wóor def suñ toobi ak liñ gis ci dundu Gambian si ak ni ñoo dundee 5-point agenda bi dafa exactly ànd ak ñun reality bi because ñun loolu lañ ñu communities yi waxoon ne mooy seen buga mooy seen góom-góom ak loolu lañ yaakaar ci UDP government so ñu ne ok am na communities yoo xam ne dem nañ fa ndaw amatu fa ndaw yi yëpp dem nañ backway amatu fa ndaw ay ñu mag ay kilifa yu mag ak màgget ñoo fa nekka am na seen njaboot yi ñi si ëppa ñëw nañ fii ci kombo gi ñi si ëppa dem nañ backway faatu nañ o dem nañ out Europe waaye ifin buñ fa eggee mënuñoo am liggéey pour delluwaat pour jàppale seen njaboot yi so ñu xalaat ne foog ñu am banxaas boo xam ne dinañu dimbale pour ñu jàppale ndaw yi mu youth employment and empowerment foog ñu digaral ko ñëpp xam nañ ne nguur dafa am loo xam ne mooy liggéeyam te liggéeyi nguur mooy pour create a conducive environment UDP government dañ ne foog ñu jàppale youth si they are not the future they are the present ñu ngi fii fu mu nekk nii ñu ngi wax seen soxla ñu ngi wax liñ bugga so ñun waxtaana youth si ak identify ñoom lan lañ foog ne moom mooy seen bugga ak naka la leen nguuri UDP mun a jàppale pour ñoom tamit ñu mun a am taxaw bu dëgër ñoom it start seen family yi mun a am liggéey o am seen business yi si ñoom loolu lañ bugga so ñun tam ñu xalaat loolu waaye ñun second one bi mu dem ci wàllum education bi si jànga bi suñ curriculum biñ am depuis colonial days similar curriculum la ñoo use ñun bu ñoo dem school biñ ñoo jàngal dañ ñu jàngal pour dem liggéey téye briefcase dugga ci office sol suit ak taay loolu is not realistic anymore fu mu nekk nii xam nañ ne nit ku nekk doomu aadama bu nekk am na métier o mun o xam-xam bu mu am boo xam ne dafa special ci moom so te du ñëpp ñoo mun a dem school du ñëpp ñoo mun jànga classroom so ñu ne waaw fine benn bi dinañ xoolaat curriculum bi education curriculum bi pour make sure ne dafa resonate ak realities yi si biir dëkk bi because dafa important ne amut njëriñ ñuy jànga world history on Napoleon fii si biir Gambia amut benn soxla amut benn njëriñ si ñun so foog ñu make sure ne li ñoo jànga dafa am importance ci biir dëkk bi fii ak pour nit yi ak pour économie bi ñu ne ci banxaas yi education bi dañ bugg a tamit door di xelal ndaw yi ne lu nekk government mënut a create all the jobs government mënut a create jobs foog ñu jàppale ndaw yi seet naka la ñoom tam ci seen boppa nekk employers mun a am ñu ñoo employ tamit ak engage ak private sector bi because business easy wut pour duga te du ñëpp a mun business so dañ ne from kindergarten ñun dinañ door di jàngal di jàppale xale yi pour ñu door di engage on entrepreneurship naka la pour def business lan nga require pour start capital pour di save pour am profit ak yooyu nga xam ne by the time xale yooyu nekk 5 years 4 years ñu door di leen won ñun gis nañ ñëpp gis nañ Europe yeneen dëkk yi even fii sax ñun biñ nekkee xaleel dañ daan tooga suñ grom soup yi sax toog ci bunti kër gi di jaay ñaari kudu grom soup o mbuudaake that kind of thing but pour ñu jàngal suñ xale yi pour ñu am this entrepreneurship mindset nga xam ne buñ demee ba jànga ba jeexal su fekkee ne mënuñoo am liggéey sax mun nañoo door that business te dañ bugg a encourage dañ bugg a am more entrepreneurs ci biir dëkk bi than people working in offices loolu moo gën a am important so ñu ne dinañ def loolu jàngale ndaw yi into entrepreneurship ba pare door di tap into skill sets yi nit yi am xale bu nekk comme li ma wax am na xam-xam am na lu mun ndax defar kawar la ndax kapenta la ndax ouvrier la ndax lu mun di nekk su fekkee ne loolu la nit ki am doole loolu la nit ki am cofeel ñu dimbale ko dëgëral mun-munam bi ak xam-xamam bi ci foofu soo ko boolee ak entrepreneurship kooku already start na business buñ jëlee private sector yi ñu ngi am ñoom TAF construction ñu ngi am all these people buñ munee jël private sector yi ñu liggéey ak ñoom pour identify lan mooy seen soxla lan lañ bugga ci skills gap ñu ngi gis léegi TAF a ngay engage a lot of jigéen yi ci new estate am bi moo paree TAF city bi lan la nit yi bugga lan la private sector bi need pour ñi war a liggéey ak ñoom suñ leen engage then at least dinañ mun a make sure ne private sector bi ñu ngi engage ak youth si ñu ngi engage ak government ñu mun a am public private partnership on youth employment, on skills, on entrepreneurship ak yooyu foog ñu create that employment or that opportunity. ñu jógee ci foofu ñu ne ñetteeli banxaas bi mooy ci wàllum mbéy bi. Gambia ku wax Gambia mbéy lañ ñu xamee apart from tourism bi ku wax jigéen ci Gambia ci mbéy lañ xam ci dex gi jigéen yi seen liggéey bi yépp ci wàllum mbéy la so mënuñoo am agenda boo xam ne agriculture nekku fa so ñu ne agriculture ñun yëpp dañ daan gis agriculture as liggéey boo xam ne ci rural communities yi ñoo ko war a def foog ñu door di dimbale suñ ndaw yi change mindset bi pour engage in agriculture ñu make sure ne ñu gis agriculture as bunta boo xam ne as a viable business than as opposed to mu nekk pour lu nit di béy pour lu moo lekka but we must make sure ne we have solid and important and large scale agricultural produce marketing whatever buñ jógee fii foofu ñu ne dañ bugg a tamit and nutrition dafa important on nutrition agriculture and food security mooy suñ ñun gis nañ bu corona bi ñëwee problème siñ am si biir dëkk bi especially marketing especially ci wàllum mbéy bi especially pour jigéen ñi am seen produce yi amuñ fuñ ko jaay because tourism sector baa ngi tëj so ñu jógee foofu ñu ne ok ñeneenteeli banxaas bi mooy ci wàllum wér gu yaram put anybody koo xam ne Gambien la lii xew ci biir dëkk bi gis nañ li xew ci wàlli ci covid bi mu xewee man ñàkk naa ci suma yaay not because of ok yàlla ko dogal but there has been some also overwhelmingness in si biir lopitaan bi amuñ enough manpower amuñ facilities yi ci biir lopitaan bi and unfortunately man tam suma yaay and like other families ñu jiitu and in some cases mun naa nekk mu nekk negligence mun naa nekk mu nekk nag dogali yàlla waxtu bee jot rek I mean for those of us who have iman we will have to look at it from that perspective but liñ gis ci jigéen yi dem di wasin di faatu based on serious negligence gis nañ vidéo biñ génnee woon jigéen bi doon wax ne ñeneenti jigéen yi wasin te da ci benn lal ak seen doom yi ndax loolu war naa xew in the year 2021 fàttaliku naa maa ngi amoon benn mbindaan boo xam ne daf doon wasin ma yóbbu ko Serekunda health si lopitaan bi foofu ma fàttaliku mu wasin 15 minutes later ñu ne dafa war a jóg parce que dañ soxla lal bi pour keneen Marimem maa ngi wax noos bi ne ko kii deret bi sa wàccaangut ci boppam bi kii su jógee léegi nii pour ma war koo yóbbu mu ñibbi mun na see dee mu ne ma dañ soxla lal bi because am na yeneen jigéen yu tëdda di matu I had to pay extra pour ñu bàyyi suma maid bi pour mu mun a tëdda noppaleku be mu génnee nit ci nit is not an easy thing ku am doom xam na si loolu pour mu mun a noppaleku deret bi wàcca yaramam bi seedaat you know but waruñoo toog di war a am façon yi problems yooyu the number of GoFundMe yi ma gis and utis deret bu amut ñuy ñaan deret o blood a blood ci biir dëkk bi because nit a ngi war a ruusin loolu waruta xew ci biir dëkk bi Gambia dafa tuuti pour ñu war a ñàkka certain basic amenities ñu jógee si foofu ñu ne tamit nit yaa ngi retire am nañ fi suñ mag yi amuñ pension there are no social safety nets in this country social security bi ñu amoon sax amul dara lu mun a defal nit yi li nit yi di am sa si seen pension yi mutut sax pour fay cash power pour ñetti fan o ñeneenti fan and that's embarrassing so ñu ne daal foog ñu am social protection safety nets yoo xam ne dina jàppale mag yi dina jàppale orphans yi dina jàppale jigéen yi nga xam ne ñoo nekk wéru dina jàppale xale yi nga xam ne ñu ngay dem school and make provisions for them ñu jógee si bu mujjee bi ñu ne dinañ focus tamit ci energy and digital infrastructure boobu moom I don't think ne sax soxla nañ pour discuss loolu parce que man maa ngi fàttaliku 1997 ba ñoo am problème GUC boobu Tobaski dee la woon ba tey xaw ma ñaata generations ñoo juddu léegi ba tey ñu ngi tombé this problem man nag duma engineer so xaw ma but dama feel ne problème biñ am in NAWEC I don't think it is a technical problem man dama feel ne it's a leadership problem so foog ñu address problème biñ am on energy foog ñu am address problème biñ am on the digital infrastructure especially on internet complaints in there on ñaata la day cost pour internet data ci biir dëkk bi average Gambian ni mënut ko afford. So these are basics yoo xam ne foog ñu rekle ko balaa ñoo start anything because loo xam ne dañ ko sampa ci kaw foundation boo xam ne lewut duñ mun a dem kanam so foog ñu rekle loo xam ne dafa jëm ci nit on human capital ñu dëgëral suñ nit yi ñu prepare suñ nit yi du ñëpp a mun a lekka tali du ñëpp a mun a lekka buildings nañ make sure ne priority boobu moom lañ prioritize on looloo tax UDP decide ne first 5 years yi fii lañ bugga focus on def suñ energy on nga xam ne after loolu and in on concurrently ñu ngi engage tamit ci yeneen banxaas waaye human capital bi ak 5-point agenda bi priority UDP la buñ bugg a use pour dem kanam so information bi yëpp ñu ngi ko amee ci suñ UDP website bi ñu ngi ko am ci English ñu ngi ko am ci arab also ñu ngi am UDP members yi nga xam ne ndaw yi ñu ngi dem ci communities yi di use local languages yi pour faram-fàcce ak pour firi 5-point agenda yi ba nit yi xam ko to bi just defoon tamit dem nañ round ñu waxtaan ak askan bi waxtaan ak ñoom pour agenda 5-point agenda bi ak ñoom naka lañ gisee ne moom community bu nekk dafa am priority so ci 5-point agenda bi am na community yoo xam ne ndox mooy seen problème am na yeneen community yoo xam ne ci mbéy bi mooy seen problème am na yeneen community yoo xam ne health centers lañ am na ñoo xam ne yëpp lañ boole so foog ñu adresse loolu njëkka moo tax UDP decide ne 5-point agenda bi mooy suñ priority mënuñoo def yëpp te bu ñoo digee te duñ def UDP du dee faral di digee waaye suñ ne dañoo def lii foofu lañ bugg a focus concentrate and make sure ne suñ budget under a UDP government dina prioritize 5-point agendas.
Okay. Saihou Saidily, I will come to that financial part of it. Why Haramalaj Auntie? Auntie, some Gambians will say Gambia at the moment is on life support. Some Gambians will say, well, it's developing. Some Gambians will say, well, it's still the same like it used to be. Jammeh's time is just that again and you explain because you will get in trouble. But what would a UDP government prioritize the first 100 days?
The first 100 days, jërëjëf Bintu. The first 100 days, ñun liñ bugg a def mooy dañ bugg a xool civil service bi, the public sector, dañ bugg a xoolaat reforms yi. Xam nañ ne the coalition government dafa amoon ay priority yu ñu leen joxoon pour ñu focus on, which was the civil sector reforms, the security sector reforms, the CRC, TRRC ak yooyu yëpp door nañ leen waaye eggali wuñ ko. So UDP ñu dañ ne suñ duggee recommendations yi jógee ci commissions yooyu ak banxaas yi ñu waxoon ne moom lay coalition government bi waroon a def ñu make sure ne eggali nañ ko ñu jeexal liggéey boobu pour mun a dem kanam boobu benn la. ñaareel bi dañ ne tamit dañ bugg a revisitaat the civil service sector fu mu nekk nii government bi dafa waroon a def loolu xamuñ ñaata nit ay liggéey foofu ci government bi xamuñ ndax sectors yi ñu ngi operate properly xamuñ facilities yi naka la mel so dañ bugg a def an audit on civil service bi lan lañ war a prioritize suñ first 100 days bi lan lañ bugg a def waaye xam nañ ne liñ bugg a focus on dëgga mooy civil service bi commissions yi recommendations yi ak also suñ 5-point agenda bi pour dem kanam loolu yooyu lañ bugg a def yooyu lañ bugg a prioritize tamit on the UDP on the especially first 100 days yi.
Okay. Gis nga ñu Gambians yi tam ñu ngi request ne we need a reconciliation dañ ko soxla torop politics bi dafa xaajaale families friends political tribe. What would a UDP government do immediately they win the election December 5th to reconcile us Gambians?
ñun xam naa ne leen daal mun naa la koo wax UDP government party leader bi dafa decide ne even balaa ñoo election results di génna role am is as a unifier koo xam ne dafa ñëw indiwaat ñëpp ñu bokka politique bi amoon na 2 years rally yi am na lu nekk am na waaye pour ñëpp ñëw ñu bokka benn nekk benn dem kanam Ousainou Darboe ñi ko xam nañ ne he's a unifier te Gambia fu mu nekk nii lim gën a soxla mooy koo xam ne dafa indi njobooti Gambian yi yëpp together ne suñ xalaat yi suñ gis-gis yi dafa utee waaye fu mu nekk nii nañ continuer ñu focus on them through Gambia am na ñoo xam ne ba tey seen góomi xol yi ba tey wérangut foog UDP government ñun liñ bugg a focus mooy ne suñ ñëwee mooy pour dimbale ñooñu pour ñu mun a giifal am na ñoo xam ne bugguñ sa xaalis am na ñoo xam ne bugguñ sa compensation liñ bugg a si reconciliation mooy pour ñu acknowledge ne lii miti na ak ñi leen def liñ leen def xam nga baalu aha am na ñoo xam ne ñoom loolu rek lañ bugg a pour acknowledge ak baalu aha UDP government dafa ne koo xam ne victime la te gisuma benn parti boo xam ne am na victims especially TRRC bu ëppa UDP most of them including party leader bi si boppam victime la of UDP waaye xëy na li ñu dimbale ñun Gambian as opposed to yeneen dëkk yi suñ imaan bi suñ gëm ci yàlla moo tax sax lii debut fu mu war a dem UDP dafa decide ne ñoom dinañ indi ñëpp ñu ñëw nekk benn ñoom dinañ make sure ne ñi nga xam ne victims lañ ñu address ñu indi reconciliation ñi nga problème ñi nga xam ne on religious issues yi génna ñu dinañ indi ñëpp gourmet sëriñ mag ndaw olof ñëpp few days ago UDP doon engage with the Christian communities ñoom it am nañ seen naxar yi am nañ seen yiñ bugga so parti bi moom lim gis mooy Gambia leadership bi lim gis mooy Gambia naka la ñoo mun a indi ñëpp irrespective of lanay sa xeet ban religion nga toppa lan mooy sa idéologie ñu ñëpp ñu ñoo ko bokka nekka benn pare pour rebuild Gambia parce que ba Gambia UDP government rek mënul koo build fokk ñu door di wax affaire yi ñun du UDP rek ñun Gambia ñun nit yi ñun doomi Gambian si ñu ñëw together ñu mun a liggéey nangu nañ ba ay leaders yoo xam ne ñëw nañ xaajaloo dëkk bi xaajaloo njaboot yi xaajaloo families and it has been very difficult for families every family kenn mënut laa wax ne lii daf leen neex so foog UDP government ñun suñ priority mooy pour make sure ne indi waat ne ñëpp and try to heal so this 100 days the first 365 days that healing that unity that togetherness that oneness foog mu ñëwaat te dégga ci man Ousainou Darboe moo mun a def loolu parce que foog nga nekk mag nga nekk kilifa nga nekk unifier nga nekk koo xam ne mos nga ko nekka nga ko Ousainou Darboe dugg na prison Ousainou Darboe mos na naka la coono mel Ousainou Darboe bugut xaalis Ousainou Darboe bugut alel Ousainou Darboe su bëggoon yooyu yëpp du nekk ci politique ñëpp gis nañ loolu so dafa important pour kii war a jiite dëkk bii pour mu nekk ko xam ne du xaajaale dafa indi dafa unite dafa boole dégg la su nit waxee ñun Gambian dañ tooma I mean dañ am lifin boo xam ne it doesn't matter loo def su la nit bugutee rek bugut la but dañ war a realize ne dëkk bi moo gën a mag any individual any party ak any nit lu mun di nekka moo tax man duma dee bugg a wax affaire yi issues relating to tribalism because man ci suma boppa comme ni ma dee wax man cocktail la suma papaam soose la yaayam olof la suma si saydi suma yaay dafa jàppa si dafa laal ci séeréer ci saydi suma papa dafa laal ci pël dafa laal ci soose dafa laal xam nga soo dañ laal ci lu bari man dama laal ci gourmet dama laal ci sëriñ dama laal ci catholique dama laal ci aku so duma dee bugg a wax because man be bu maa mag bi di génn suma kër pour dem jàngi dem sëyi laa soog a xam ne lii issue la musuma ko woon a xam te gis naa suma waajur yi musuta am so loolu lañ war a make sure ne Gambian bu nekka gis na boppam ñun UDP wat naka fas kene nañ ne Gambian bu nekk
wow, she did wonderful. No. Okay.
Make sure ne women will be represented, not just as tokenism. Dinañ make sure ne youths will be represented, not just as tokenism. Dinañ make sure ne Jola, Nyago, Sose, Aku, all of Serer, Pol, every tribe dina gis representative am ci biir UDP government. And there would be individuals bo xamne it's not going to be tokenism, but dafa nekk ñoo xamne experts lañ, because xeet bu nekk ci biir dëkk bi amna ko xamne doom bo xamne expert la ñu indi leen ñu mëna liggéey boole waat dëkk bi nekk benn. So ñun suñ kéné is to unify this country. We are so divided, we are so wounded, we are so hurt that it's going to take a miracle, and that miracle pill bobu Ousainou Darboe mo amé pill bobu, that miracle pill.
Thank you, Auntie.
So lola bugona wax UDP ak lan lañ bugal fen.
Yes, so your last question will be, your time is up. I'm going to steal 1 more minute. Luta Gambian.
Let me put the light on. It's
yes, yeah. Brother, you hold on. I'm going to let her go. She got 1 more question. Her time is up. Yes.
Sure.
So I got 2 more questions here for you, and I will open the line if they have any question to ask you, because we are on the crunching part. Auntie.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. 1 more question and 1 big advice from any end. Now you are ready to campaign for UDP. Why should Gambians vote for a UDP government?
Why should Gambia vote for a UDP government?
Yes.
Okay. For me, 1 is to look at the principle, which is the leadership. 2, the ability of the principle also. The ability of the team around the principle. Ñun ñëpp xam nañ ne du njiit bu nekk it's not about njiit bi lan la mun ak lan la munut ak lan la xam ak lan la xamut. ñi wor njiit bi ñoo mun a make or break that leader's vision. Te UDP am na mashallah li UDP am ci expertise on every sector. Foog naa ne ñun kafuñ. That's 1. 2, foog naa ne UDP has been on and existing and has been the only party, and I am going to repeat it, the only party. Yes, to some extent, Doi and maybe others, but the party that has really been at the forefront of challenging the status quo when it was difficult. Suñ leadership has been has never relented, irrespective of how this compromised livelihood. He has been on, he has been fighting the good fight. He has been doing it for Gambians, not necessarily just for UDP. Sudu dara, compared to experience, qualifications, te waxuma experience rek ci liggéey, but experience yi dundu, experience yi xam mitit, experience yi xam mititi real Gambian bi Ousainou Darboe la muna neka. Yeneen bu ma bëgg a wax tamit mooy parti leader bi ba moo miti dawut ba niti di daw parti leader bi dawut mu ngi fa tëj nañ ko niti mun nañoo wax ne waaw defoon na lii def na la lii, but I mean let's put aside everything and really look at past almost half of life yi parti leader bi kenn musuta wax ne Ousainou Darboe sàcca na xaalis ci man, lawyer la jël na xaalis ci man, labañ na suma xaalis, kenn musut koo wax. Gambia fu mu nekk nii tey dafa soxla koo xam ne dafa humble, bugewut riitewut topput yëfi xaalis, dafa toog xool loo xam ne mooy gën ci doomi Adama. Te man honestly nekkuma sax, let's put aside sax ne maa ngi political heart bi, dañoo wax with all honesty. Du ñëpp a bëgg a UDP, and you don't have to like UDP. You don't have to like the party leader, but let's be very honest and be very sincere, because right now Gambia dafa nekk ci crossroads boo xam ne one mistake buñ def for the rest of our lives we will live to regret it. We got carried away bu APRC ñëwee, and at that time ñu bari dañ ne woon dañ soona wara government lii lali. We have to be very careful what we wish for. Gambia lim soxla fu mu nekk nii leader, soxlut kuy ut xaalis, soxlut ku am xaalis, soxlut ku bugga xaalis, soxlut kuy ut fame ak popularity. Dafa soxla kuy indi boot boole ñëpp ñu nekk benn, and loolu qualities yooyu UDP government mun na koo def. Dëgg la UDP benn parti boo xam ne more than any other party boo xam ne amut luñ leen saanilut, amut luñ leen waxut, amut luñ fabricatalut UDP. Against all odds and in all honesty, UDP continue to stand the test of time. Waxuma ne dañ war a jox Ousainou Darboe njukkal because dafa suffer because dafa struggle. Man waxuma loolu, man bokkuma ci boobu. Li ma wax mooy qualities yim am, leadership qualities yim am, ak ñi ko wóor kéene buñ am pour dëkk bi, it is unmatched. Structures yiñ am ci parti bi, it is unmatched. Unfortunately, Yaya Jammeh was successful in changing the perception of Gambians ne UDP party soose la, and that has come to haunt us to this day, even when it is not true. Yes, in everything you see, there is always a majority, and if the Mandingos no fi opachi bir deka bi, then obviously fu nekk rek there'll be more concentration of Mandingos. But for me, my argument is bu fekkee ne soose yi dañ bari UDP, bon na poli jola yi njaago yi aku yi olof yi ñëw dugga si and make sure that they are part of that. And that is not even the case. I don't want to be a broken record, because ñëpp dañ dee xam nga wax nañ ne parti leader bi family am ñu si oppa yëpp ñaari jabaram yi duñ soose, ñun suñ leadership yi suñ jigéen yi duñ soose, you know, and so on and so forth. And unfortunately loolu, that stigma is still there. Benen kaddu bi ñoo wax ne UDP party suñ duggee government bi dañoo jël revenge, dañoo, I mean, man pull any intelligent person bi wara talk xalaat loolu sax, I will question your level of maturity and your level of intelligence. Lan moo wara tax a UDP government or Ousainou Darboe or maa ngi xool sax man suma boppa pour wara jël revenge ne kii dañ koo tëj or kii dañ koo daaxa or kii dañ koo def lii because daf doon xeex UDP or bokkut UDP or supportut UDP. Any intelligent person bu mun a toog bañ convince la ne la parti bi suñ duggee dañ koo socialize, dañ koo def nii, then I am sorry, I am really sorry ne am nañ ay nit yoo xam ne noonu la ñoo xalaatee. And for me, then I will have my reservations about that person, because lu nekk danga xaar ba nga xamal sa boppa dégga nga mos ko. Man dugga naa ci biir UDP and I had that perception man ci suma boppa ne UDP parti soose la. I went in there. Wow, dégga la. There are a lot of people there who speak soose, and there are a lot of sources there, and that's okay. But there are a lot of Poles there. There are a lot of Olofs there. There are Akus there. There are Christians there. You know, there are Njagos there. There are Jolas there. Luta ñuy jël this single record di ko break. It's politics, and I know they play games and they play minds. But if people who are playing these games know the reality of Gambians yi ni ñoo suffer ci biir communities yi, they will stop playing this game and make sure we vote in the right person that will really bring people together, will unite people. All jokes aside, all politics aside, if UDP does not win these elections, di ngeen gis loo xam ne nit yi dinañ bugg a ñëwaat ooyaat Ousainou Darboe ñaan ko pour mu ñëw, and it would be too late. Fu mu nekk nii, Gambia's life is on each and every one's conscience. Gambian bi they usually vote based on kum ham, kum bokal, ak, you know, kum de interactal. We should now be thinking the next 4 weeks based on policies, priorities. Who are the people behind the scenes? Who are the people in front? How is this going to happen? What due diligence on the individuals that are within the leadership of a UDP government. Nañ seet loolu yépp buñ toog rek seet UDP as a party, because that picture has been painted. It is going to take generations yet unborn to take it out. And hopefully, I know now UDP government su duggee, they will be able to make sure they demonstrate and vindicate themselves, because that is not the reality and that is not the truth. But politics, yahana hell you bari. Yo hamne, I get calls, people call manema niti dega bugon nañu votal UDP, why dañu ragal ne UDP because parti sosé la dañu def li dañu def lali. We need to grow up, we need to focus, we need to make sure ñu ngi xalaat Gambia and put our emotions aside. Fu mu nekk nii caaxaan passé na. And mun naa laa wax ne ñun UDP we are authentic. Li ñoo wax kafuñ li ñoo plan li ñoo engage. We are not here to witch hunt. UDP amut suñ agenda bi sax. It is not even part of the discussion on witch hunting, on choosing sources, on, I don't know. Sometimes I'm a bit surprised where the news comes from or the information. We need to start debunking those things. We need to start debunking the narrative of Ousainou Jah. No party leader in this country has had a beating more than Ousainou Darboe. And am na ñoo xam ne even though they don't support him, xam nañ ne li ñoo wax dëgg la. And he's taking it all. The good, the bad, the ugly. Man lima ñaan ak lima haas. And I'm reaching out to every Gambian with a conscience. Ne ñëw to UDP, ñu rally around and work for a better Gambia and unite for a better Gambia. Fi amu fi Sose, amu fi Jola, amu fi Nyago, amu fi Pol. Let's stop this game. This issue of tribalism has destroyed so many countries. Then stop. Mandama appeal to my brothers and sisters, my mothers and fathers, my aunts and my uncles, my cousins, my relatives, those of you that I know and I don't know. I am appealing to you. Let us vote based on conscience. Let us not vote based on emotions. This election is an election like no other. And Gambia's life depends on this election. Those who are listening and UDP supporters and non-UDP supporters. To the UDP supporters and militants, Manglena Nyan, this 4 weeks in go out, reach out to a non-UDP member, hug them, say, my brother, come, let us work together. It was politics. We were fighting, we were arguing, we wanted to win. We have 4 weeks to go. We have a nation to build. Let us come together. Lolu rek la buga ñaan every Gambian, every UDP member, bring a non-UDP member, talk to them na lolu nek as a project for the next 4 weeks. We on the ground here, ñun lolu lañ buga def. Dañoo reach out. Often, be easy pour ñu nek ci suñ comfort zone. Sa yi ñoo dem, dinañ dem ci communities yi and campaign in places where we know we are comfortable. And it's good because we need to keep our electorate also excited. But let's get out of our comfort zones. Let's put our egos aside and let's go for the last mile, the last run, because Gambia deserves better. That's all I have to say and to appeal.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay.
Well, all of you guys
I should not clap. Saidily, you know, I should not clap, right? But now I did, no problem.
No. I think we need to. I think nañ put aside the face of Ousainou Darboe, nañ put aside the face of Essa Faal, nañ put aside the face of Halifa Sallah, nañ put aside the face of Abdoulaye Jammeh, nañ put aside the face of Adama Barrow, nañ xool Gambia. Nañ fàtte ne kii camp bi ngeen engage ak kale ñu ngee partner ñu ngee def nii. History will judge us tomorrow. Man nag I am very, very, very conscious of my conscience. And I want to do what is right within my conscience. And hamnane kuneka, hej na ñom tamit, what is right for them, mom lañoo def. Why ma ngee njaax Gambian si. All jokes aside, all politics aside, this country deserves more than we have given her. And we should make sure ñu delloo Gambia njukkal. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Let me give my thank you. I don't even know now. I run out of words for the first time. You know, and you know, was something. You know, you just run out of words. But first of all, let me, on behalf of the staffs here, the Intermedia Network, UDP has given us this opportunity to have a conversation with the Secretary General, Honorable Ousainou Darboe. Today, we have this second opportunity again. It's you, Deputy Senior Administrative Secretary. And thank you. Thank you. All the mamas out there, all the girl child, the Gambian girl child is watching. Now they have that eyes and say, well, when I grow up, I'll be able to do this. That's my auntie sitting out there. She's a female voice. We can do it, not just UDP. And you have mentioned that. You have talked about that. And I don't know what else to say, but to tell you thank you.
Thank you so much. And you guys are doing amazing. I don't know what we will do without our diaspora. You guys just make it happen for us. You guys just make it real for us. And you guys are the winds beneath our sails, honestly and sincerely. Gambia is so proud of you, all of you. We have no words. We have no words. Thank you so much to all of you, UDP members, Gambians, and our media fraternity. Thank you.
And
thank you, Oley. Thank you.
Yes. Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And good luck with the discussion. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Oley.
Thank you. Thank you.
God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh boy, I don't even have a question for you no more.
Yeah.
Okay. This is it.
Oley, I be for it.
I be for it.
But comment kala kumolu phoning.
Yes.
Kala kumolu phoning body
Mandika Kamala. Yes.
Oley kumonen foja wala why nyanta karo file His Excellency la Ousainou Darboe ako number one Ousainou Darboe fango kun kilemo the principal nyatonku amankuto ako lawyer Darboe sa kong iman la fala bari molo me alonko mo kabirin half of his life ala balwo kono abeke do kole Gambia di ano mo kilite funtila je ka lawyer Darboe sunyaro leke ay tapalele ay nakari na fango kam bi politiko kono se dunya onya sa kumo be fo lawyer Darboe ma mo kiline man funti ay audio dada ka fo lawyer Darboe en tapale janne waranga ay kudi min ngole ken ay ako dalila ken ako secondly men in fact olila men fongo te fongo kontani di bake anu ni message UDP ndingolo be nyanta ka ako ni warandi ka amplify bake ite lebe binto Bantaba bari I'm sure ite la face appear jambo da is team binto Bantaba network ni be patio jibe leka teamo le jibe lawyer Darboe nin kaliba ajibe lawyer Darboe le teamo anala political opponents wala nimmel be nyosa bakam palaso ni te mu carte faylati kana lawyer Darboe kunkilingo jibe wara ye Essa Fall kunkilingo jibe wara Mama Kande wara Adama Barrow wara Ablaye Jammeh all the aspirants ikajibe le di caliber UDP ajibe molu membe lawyer Darboe melia murum Oley Dibba mo kilinati je Oley Dibba be non do ko la African Development Bank le kodo ma dundi politiko kono bi konen kodo lo ma be tula African Development Bank le aka men shoto to Gambia man sekundata jola no la be ngo lonne aka kodo men an ADP hada e minister palaso le shoto on the UDP ato kodo shoto la be ngo lonne jo in terms of la salary okay bari asitale ay kumol fo jang ako me ya dundi politiko fo kono wala bring I President Barrow jadunda private jet in 2017 2018 akana bama be kachala late mode ala mane mani kafal kala wo kay ko atol mem bu ko dunna politiko kono nali sita alliés alpha muta ni sifa lebe kera ako waya hit bakele banku foiro men kamanta ko Gambia wala president ko dum private jet la ñillen kulti ñanta ka men kacha ando men kontan ñin kacha fawto binto do UDP nte always nte ka proud UDP member CPL you know why ni sita fango UDP ko akam kontane fo mboka kantano lamoy munen kan kontane ndi UDP lon party bi bintolu mbe computer jibe kan clock 1 hour 49 minutes right now bijam ndol nga nyin kacha kuma soto janne president baro to foto jam mabra signal lulu si throughout Oley Dibba Wada aya to fo signal kilim fo to ya kilim pet 1 hour ni nga taran na opponents le nata jam amam possible ye meeting so ye diamo so 1 hour 49 minutes lawyer dabo to mom fo signal muang or more and listen go fokam atandi kon tolu nga issue sol le kacha membe banko dingolu mako ila na balwo Kenya la na seno bunda la na funding ko do ko sutra nyabe mecholu no la nyamen jata kende yiri wala nyamen na seno bunda because niye Gambia la budget o jibe binto ntolu mambo follow andu ni election o comme Oley men foteng alinga vote without consent alinga siku landi jana wara Saihou Saidily la comandiante waram binto Bantaba la comandianye wara la comandianye election manke woti election mo banko la quality manofo Gambia no li budget o jibe le bang mambure njaay men sama parliament $23 billion is budget.
Yes.
Mambure njaay wala present to the national assembly.
Nga question of uncertainty, yes. But go ahead.
In fact, out of that 23 billion 5.7 billion wakata julu jola debt servicing. The bigger chunk of the budget of bekata julu jola. But Gambian olmo kalamata wolom kemo sidula keme muani saba 21% of dollar soto abekata julu jola. Akamdala ko nikete jo 1,000 na 1,000 pounds for example. Ika 200 pounds be boni or more ika beke julu joti. Keme say da maleka tuibul ite be balula nya so dollar budgeto bigger chunk of our budget ajibe near health yemendi health la education 3 billion plus health is 2 billion ni olbe kafunyoka is just a little over this debt servicing so warning julu jole lafta kanyana so ndol man fan soto because of why yalon ku jamale katara koma man sakunda ka mem mabo banko dingol la bari ndeysan modol bi wolu ni bita carte fe wala fon wolu ka issue sol jibe wolu ka kula jibe ha jumala be lola karla ko diata ne mbadi ngata fayla box ko no Gambia bi julo membe minindi tul kanwala binto fo Gambia no yo londe ba yes nga silolu jele be silolu do kukam nga jele be dula do kukam but at what cost $5 julo Yaya Jammeh nde boka support na mana support but Yaya Jammeh 22 years binto na total debt was 58 billion in 22 years. Akamta, Mosa Jibeko, on average of 2.5 billion, akawole di mola sawosan. Sanyi morning fula, I glome meaning count of billion talunse. But ya Adama Baronata sign 5 years, I extra 19 billion nekafoto. Gambia no liolo never 58 billion sign glome men count of 77 billion.
But
But
what monyan tamine kelano pro kamol educate at the ground level pour ye nyunkusi falo understand mol yo long because tola ke balma wolon no and we grow up not knowing much about the government so tere je malle nyanta fayla
yalon opposition ndo opposition esa fal kan yum fole esa fal diamo la me ka wala be diamo kan corruption la ni akrosi opposition be issue sol foka ni tata doy they talk about it ndol ka for UDP because Honorable Halifa Sallah, well you can disagree with him but a foreign in debt burden Halifa Sallah spoke about it to julo membe Gambia la 77 billion and we nata mela mansa kunda because ikanyin kibaro mabo Gambia no la na president ojela diamta la economic success la last week akola man sekunda achievement menke ka foko britol nata imam fentara man sekunda bol economic reserves ya increase jolu kafuta he spoke about that but adama namana diamu Gambia la debt burden now anana ta fola julo membe minini anana ta fola ka dakara la because now ya forek mole sotaro jala man sekunda 19 billion is incomprehensible man sekunda ning adama e sanyi mo ni fola ke Gambia ala man tangala utate be julu jelle minina within 5 years you almost put 20 billion Yaya Jammeh senyi moni fula beki janala Yaya Jammeh ya nyawnya na debt total 58 billion. Today we are 77 billion indebted as a country because Mansakunda is just borrowing. No meaningful economic policies. Today, Binto Bantaba, Gambia no Lialo Neko, ease of doing business in the country, right? Investors all come in GB. There is what they call ease of doing business in the country. Investors all, okay, ka business or set up Gambia, a sonaya te nyadile. Country like New Zealand, the ease of setting up business, their index is 1. Until the UK is 8. United States is 6. New Zealand from the United States nyato. It will never UK nyato. But do you know Gambia la score mujaledi 155. 1 being the best, 1 not the best. Nimbango me number 2 sort of like some country like Singapore. Very good. 2 ila index. That is the index. It all measure investors all call it. They look at eco indices all the Nindara business or Kanyimbangu kari. Business or set up is easy. So 1 is the best. So like country like New Zealand, they got very good. Country like Sweden, eco is 10. The score is 10. Until the UK, we are 8. Gambia, in Africa, I think we are better than 2 or 3 countries. The whole of Africa. And we are almost war-torn countries. Liberian war-torn country. Sierra Leone is 163 because Sierra Leone bought an kilo. Liberia is 175, but Gambia is 155, and we are not doing well on the Adama Barrow. So these are the indices. Nyanta Mel Jibela corruption index on Gambia Gita Dumale from 96 to 102. We were doing well. Couple of years ago, bringing Masakunda Kutonada, Tata 96, but now there is a lot of backsliding. So Tata 102. Ntoluka nyi siwa lefo nyung Gambia voter sol nyanta nyine jibela. Banjul Brode Sorontale. Itata Senegal mfota. Gambia dingo le photo dokuwala. This government should have done everything possible and make sure Banjul Brodes akana sorong. The finance ministry should have done everything possible. But here batum Banjul Brode Soron. Itata mintole binto imata Senegal. Okay. Senegal ease of doing business. Senegal, I think they rank about 120 something. They're better than us. All right. So investors all buffalo. Okay, before that Gambia. So until after you see le follow, we want to talk about these issues. After you see le follow. Election to you lenyanta kachala. Ha bali usenu da bakata tenne. Oh, it's neither here nor there. Wala na binto ngani program useless. Oley Dibba Wada kadiamo na 5-point agenda la. 5-point agenda nga dole fonga comment yako. Oh, we have heard everything about this 5-point agenda. But LDB memfokam is trying to purka akunyinta kamolu ka refresh into people's mind. Mori hakilo bulala, talking points. And we appeal to all the candidates. Leading to December 4th, ndolga nyin kacha menkeja wo kacha sifal kake. Rally me alonko B candidates will be there because ngaje B iko kuno ngaje ko Adama Barrow nyanta on the 9th abe cross law. Nama be campaign that. Mbe appeal to them. Ikana le campaign ke about Dabo. Ikana ke about let them talk about seno bunda ito libe muneke la banku dingoliye. Like ntolo nga fole ko manta na kacha manta on the UDP government. Seno bunda 10% of the budget. At least 3 billion will go into agriculture.
Agriculture. That will be very important.
392 million wala kata seno bunda. Ntolo ko 3 billion minimum dollars wala kala seno bunda. Because seno bunda all lifeline of the Gambian economy. 75% of the labor force abe seno bunda le iteninte kulu de Gambia le. Ngamunaje seno bunda ikafo agriculture is the backbone of the Gambian economy. Mbeko kalamtale because ninke mo kono sidlo taworo ni lulo employment agriculture bunda le kadi. But ni mansa kunda ka budget odera. Ika million keme woro ni fendi president's office la. Ika seno bunda ika 300 and something diwala. Is that not a slap on the face for farmers? So ite amira president office ni seno bunda jumala nyanta kumaya la.
Bari mbatule ngenyi nkaidula fatamfa. Niko president's office. Jamal lebe on the president's office. Ntulunka nkajakala kuala domande. Niko president's office. Ikanyim budget bami. Which ministry is on the president's office?
Hayalon president's office, vice president Bijele. And in National Disaster Relief Agency, Population Secretariat, president's office waratale. Amanke come model camera go vice president Adam. You have got the office of the vice president. It's under the office of the president. And also they have about how many? About 37 staff. Me alonko niaje permanent secretary general do kulal membige. But that notwithstanding, Binto, Sino Bundala budgeto, well, in president's office, and on the UDP government, that's what is going to happen. Like that way, I follow go. Now take it a president. Wuli keme wuli talulu depaso every day at the Mansula. That's incredible. President be money $150,000 is like daily. Ala domoro dama. Akamune domo. President kamune domo. In fact, ntenga Binto nyanta mem propagate like Bangkok.
Ala domoro yunkono ala state house bail meaning soldier role and everybody, right?
Yeah, but that was soldier role ka jole bintu ni ke jola salary la. Ntolla jang ikata doku le ke jo mena ni tata doku la, you have to provide yourself lunch. You don't say your organization should give you lunch. You are paid salary. You make your own lunch. You go to the restaurant and cafeteria. Lunch provide. In the America, I understand in the US, President wala Joe akala domoro bondi wallet. Right?
When I found out what Borakla Sikuto, I was so falabogas. What? The president had himself?
Yes, but Binto wala nyanta kela. President we ka Joe wuli keme fulalla wuli talulu. For president ala depaso bondi no jana la dimbaya. Aso bondi no jele. Aka president ka moneke wuli keme fula wuli talulu aka mabole because aboka fin spend wo kuno.
But in the soldier role wala jo mansia so ninko wuli ifanda.
Okay, yala wo fon. You can maybe the military, the army can subvention to those people. I can understand, but there is no justification. President will be 150,000 spent on daily on food. I come the president come instead of Domoro. Will see at Joe for money. Binto.
Mantalaino yalo nominatin. Ninga senior people or sambajang as their show. Mboka laino yele.
So, well, then personally, I don't mind to take one or two questions.
Okay, from them, right?
Yeah, because Oley is not here. I don't mind to take one or two questions.
Okay, okay, but say, move on. Saidily, we have the opportunity. I'll call Kena. The number is under your screen. +1678 3900 Mbatexla on the side. Fana. I'll call now. He would like to answer some questions.
If I've been to a dole asafe, malon for ajela ko sojaro la domoro kabonan cample. Akama cample ka la domoro dila.
Akabonan cample.
Yeah, somebody wrote that. I could the guards' food come from the camp. Okay.
Well, ila la so mol hametal for dolu neokuyata inata normal for normal metulai no. So let me give them this opportunity. Ntemendi la back because if I'm meta jambi back and let me answer their call. But I on the side, mbenyi ninkala nyinale, mantenyi ninkala privately, left ninkala publicly. Even though kunu UDP, I told you guys went well. Mine a surprise. Biring dolu moye rejectle. Pati jamale a surprise.
Well, GMC tie-in surprisingly, to be honest, and even. Even CA
Go ahead. Saidily because I was so curious. I want the public to hear the me.
GMC because is one of the longest among the male reject because most of the people in male reject will move independent candidate Mary Sock and other people. Well, time and surprise to be honest.
Okay.
With no, I think the IEC got a case. That minimum 200 and something voters from it. It will always become a challenge for them. But a long-standing political party like Gambia Moral Congress, they are in existence on covering struggle or what you know. When surprised, like also struggle no 200 and something boni banjol. And relatively CA because CA in the political arena. And they've been very vocal, so I thought they would have done that thing. But again, I listened to their statement. Equally, the required number of voters submit. They said it. I see. So let's allow the appeal process to go. But we'll see overflow and surprise on that.
Okay, all right. Me caller Tala. Hello, caller.
Hello, Bintu.
Todi madu.
Lamin Dabo.
Dabo ibri mintina. Nga brother la soto jan Saihou Saidily. Yes. Okay.
I'm also a UDP member.
Okay, Bismillah.
Yeah, kumol men fujang kumol betal the back and Oley.
Oh.
UDP plan men sort of for Gambia ning memang dan electoral be able to everybody vote for UDP because in a 5-point agenda nying madama would solve Gambia's problem.
Okay.
The cost of living in Gambia is very expensive. You know, average people are suffering. You know.
Okay.
And the other part of it, the telecommunication aspect is very, very. Afford no. You know, I remember last time Ibrahima came on the program. I talked about it. In the sub-region, Gambia is the most expensive, internet from Konya. But reliable, you know. We need a lot of things need to be sorted in that country, definitely. Yeah, and the UDP is the only solution now at the moment. So this election is one thing Gambia Itanya to all Gambia do. That's it. You know? So UDP is the only solution at the moment now.
Okay, thank you.
Gambia no pay. Ngani si cool landi jana nga kudo landi jana the big picture jibe men go Gambia be dam ta kata tinkolo kon. So nyanta kata nga bondi.
Thank you.
You know?
Thank you.
The 5-point agenda on your way, Gambia problem was solved, right? You know.
Okay.
I'm done. Everybody be a katanga.
Connect. Hold on. Hello, Abijelaba. Goja.
Yes.
Oh, Gola BJ. Okay. Hello, caller.
Yes, Binto Abenyari.
Mbija, Todi Madam.
Ntelem Sidia Sani.
Sane.
Abenyari.
Okay, Mbija. Similar, nga brother Saihou Saidily le sotoja.
Okay. Mba kontan na bake. Nke moile.
Okay.
Nkombe Saidily kontan na bake.
Bismillah.
Aning sister is it Ole Mimbotaji.
Ole.
I very educative diamole keje mi alonko young politician also kujama karanoje wolen politiko lan ntenga nyinin kar jama fon le sotno atla barbiton atata so I'm going to concentrate on the IEC last side.
Okay.
Nte IEC yaje kodu ninku keta be nyanta jubela because nin problem no mema ikana jube ko ntila candidate qualified so IEC job well done. But IEC until Gambia no nyanta hajultula with this IEC.
Okay.
Because near Jube 2016 ma foko election man fair. But ka election announced 2 results asi kujama wulu no. Okay, near Jube IEC la nying nomination on nying. Ni atra problem no nya ay party ba manu like NPP or UDP abe kelanu a big problem. But because ni mo patundi wale nte nene mam my support nene man Dr. Cisse support but nte fe special Dr. Cisse my fati ani Lamin Bojang General Bojang nte to me IEC they are not fair with them because nte nga koros nyame maybe ñu IEC they are observing in patio kabi kela rally ke moli kamin soto ni ya korosi yemil be tombon from number 1 to 6 ntol be lata ko yemil drop moti gemi an ko la crowd ole siata nyulti so minul that itol yajele ko nyulu waka haninga dile wondongo ka ninge drop because remember comme mol siata nyame IEC also they are study ba fola ko ablaje sia because we cannot spend all our money with this for election so they will use other means ntenga that's my own na gerole moti.
Okay, Sane, hold on. Nga brother nyininka. Saihou Saidily, nga moy mola iko the decision is already made. Ni IEC a decision or make, they don't go and reverse it. They can only go to the courts.
I don't think it's true. I think the fact that IEC process allows the parties to appeal on Niamoidami. That means it can be considered. Because what is the purpose of the appeal? Then only then go to the courts, Binto. Because why would they appeal at the IEC? The IEC, the decision will be reversed. Yeah, I understand it. So I think the fact that IEC allows that process, it's only when the IEC appeal will reject.
Okay.
All right. Now GMC appeal near reject in that case, and the GMC feels strongly because they got a case, then they can go and seek redress in the courts. That's the process. IEC would have to first respond to the appeals. So near ata fine, but near reject, then GMC say okay, we want to go to the courts.
Okay. Sane, so I guess we have to sit and wait. Ngajibe, what will happen this week?
Ha, but yeah, inka for Buntu. Yaje dabak mali ela programme on ngal listing le, and I mean for it makes sense. Yaje nte ko I see nyanta min kelano like certificates and other requirements wo it will sakeno later, but like nomination forms will molia min tender inyanta ka count in the presence of the presidential aspirants or ila followers. Yaje ko is correct because nte la formo natla nga foko is correct. Ite ta wat min na ba kontela ntiti kwa manketa. How can I understand that? So you know problem on that.
Okay.
Near it told Yafoko, hey, you know what? Other documenters will put it aside, but the forms we have to look away either to count it in the presence of those people who submitted. Then they will have no objection. But it's a form of somebody correctly. It is a ya content. So maybe Dabak Malik, I mean for it makes sense. But Mujamata understand unless they come and explain, because Dabako, one thing we could understand. Gambian or dol bige, you know, ibe friends auto. As it is UDP, atoke UDP form auto. Ala idika, aita ke NPP, I na take my fatla form auto. So NPP are conte, UDP are conte. By the told maybe they have extra momialonko they can cover their space. So near my exactly I took 210 letter. Maybe 10 to 20 will be that I to feel NPP, UDP and other parties. I see all Bondi. Then how can my be safe? When you have to forms of samba what mean 200 or so. So you have to explain to him. But near to a control it will nyala. You problem not take because they can mean for assume that you get a big party like UDP or NPP. It will have been a problem because if I follow no, I'm correct. Because Ajube near to eco provinces as if it's here, but the Banjulja, handing my 200 sort of Banjulja, si Borino J, 30 seconds. I more sort of. What one for?
Thank you.
I'm not defending mantra in GMC, but a Banjul jam. I can drive even 10 minutes. I tell Banjul I more money for more fila soto.
Okay. Thank you, Sane.
And I will not submit 200 less than 200. But anyway.
Thank you. Thank you,
so
Sane,
we have
for the contribution. Sane Alimbalal. Okay. Hello, caller.
Yeah, hello.
Because there's some hold on, caller.
Okay.
Ntenga formal ninjibela IEC la fenkoto website or kuno. They ask for the number, signature, and in detail about it. So ntemalong, how fast did IEC get the time within a week? Yenyi molbe talo konti. And the UDP fanangajele biring ibinakang fenka. Sabaliwol. You need him file balle nata molbe jelele bavoka why this files. Yes, but in another explain there are so many go paperwork from the voter register.
Binto ngama call and you na respond quickly before you take the next caller. Malafi moya insinuate kontolo we are downplaying this issue because among affect because if I focus on kana see for affect no. It's a difficult situation here. I am for Hakilima Kumalafoji, and in the IEC form, probably they should deploy the tactic coming even men Fenko Contilla, Yela representative Kumandia Continua, Ibajala was also that is a very good suggestion. But also the flip side is for them IEC for a manke more killing them, maybe IEC is a team of maybe 5-10 people. You think those people base a tafau against one party? So Ning is a complex situation. But I take his point on board.
Yes.
For next time, IEC say nibe more la fem call contila second representation.
Yes.
Ye party representative command ya kondi yalong woni work at so I think that's a very good suggestion.
I think they should have a machine to run these numbers. it will be faster.
Well, I don't know what system that they use. IT system or technological system. I don't know how they count this. But again, eco GDC task Italy, as a file from a task Italy, and then DOI. So I don't think they will just discriminate. I will be so disappointed near the IC or like a Kenyan party will discriminate. Maybe confusion okay that needs to be addressed. But Tema Miracle is a new party flow tie single out. Just on that basis, I personally wouldn't believe that. But again, like the caller said, the best way to mitigate this, niye mola representative command iba kontela ya konta fa nyala yala wo so rekala.
He was so rekala. Yes, Sada have a good idea. Bao,
he has a good suggestion.
Yeah, he have a good suggestion because Bao saying sport counting. Why not we call we count everything in the presence? Caller dole fele line out. Hello, caller.
Yeah, hello, Bindo.
Yeah, Todi Mado.
The Toma Laminati.
Wait, na lamin from. You're not fit to be no way fele. It come with you. Even mention that.
And the Findo Bijane. Me like get so content now.
Bismillah.
Yeah, a program of interest in the. Yeah, a kumol for family always here the back. Yeah, but sister Oley content na. I kumol for family on Kenya. And then fana ni blatas kula e blata sila la fana e banko na fala e molbe na fala. Seuli fana mba tendu la mba jara because aba kata kanne but ansa mba fala la fa ba ke because mola te me ala no ko kata la bala te UDP kono. Yo kuma do fo me ala ko akuma ta ba kele no. On 5-point agenda nunte amina o janda kala kula te me ala no ko in the first 100 days in office. Wal nyana kala kula de melala no wal nyana lola mel kata the social amenities ya mel for melala mentada ko internet wala fana and more health service and all the parts be melala no ko kuma ba da promolia because today banko te irwala nitra banko nying it is not digitalized and for now Gambia we need a system we need a digital system in the Gambia because with that digital system everything can be possible in Gambia development of Sablakon because when Gambia is digitalized, security will be amendment. I mean, on our other sectors, farmers will finance technology will be advanced on them. We can go into industrialization, I understand, whereby mechanical farming can improve more because this local farming, remember Gambia, what Gambia move now to forward la fala nyame in our farming sector. But if at all our government comes in place, they make those amendments for the farmers. I understand they empower them on those basics. While in the farming area, it will be boosted. I understand, and that boosting, our farming sector will improve ahead. So if na for now, new work on our health service for now. Abina makoila because ning banko digitalized system nim be move forward because by the internet or no stabilized no Gambia no fanamba jibela no by ila cool killer no nyame outside in diaspora on how to help the government.
Hold on but gonna kotoke jelendija brother biring lamin kanalan birimbe birintanata jawato telephone man siya wato house line or let's start kaduna aning nim buto telephone butol you know telephone buto so my dad be travel tele so left kala ni jelende doro so pour katandang kun my dad fama la call so nim buto be marcelo to so I will go and sit in this corner. Sometime I can tell for 2 hours and Katara Siring Bechurondi, put Miss Adnin telephone or I will pick up. But later on years down, improvement or kata for mobile. The moment you can mobile or lungo, okay, I'm excited. But still, when you call Gambia,
because more advanced even for Jalabinto, because Nina society for at this time. Gambia. Yeah, if you see, usually they are living in foreign, they see things, how they are working. I understand. But they cannot bring those materials that they are seeing here to Gambia because there are no necessities also bagasul tamanino mankata kurang or internet or other facilities. I understand. But no wonder people are willing, Gambians are willing. I understand. Kilo kodol fay nyokam. Ya jibe fon fan nimba tubab du jang ay sotono Gambia kon. I understand. But it got nyina ko niake tinyaro because menya no fengol tamandela all ta Gambia bul. Melkata kurang or internet on all those stuff.
With the phone card, Saidily, it's very a time tally before the ban. But Gambia immediately, hello, it's still, it just fly in the wind. You know?
Yeah, because now call termination charges are very expensive.
Much higher than so I want to stop here. Maybe after I can let the other callers to come in.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lamin. Thank you. Laban Najang for now. So, brother to Farmer Lajang, because we are at the age.
Okay.
Yes, at the Farmer Lajang. At any time, Saihou Saidily contact wrong. Go UDP.
It's always there.
Thank you, Lamin. Thank you.
Hello, caller.
Hello.
Di Mado.
Ngo Amadou Sediba re-empire on Facebook, re-empire Sediba.
Okay, Sediba Ibrimintin now, Saidily Labija.
Okay, thank you. Man, we continue. Once again, we have a platform we create different political ideas here. Thanks for that. Gambia will need right now because coming socially, we destroy and separate so we need a platform like yours, promote and different political parties without insulting. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. We really appreciate. Okay, about politics, like Gambia to that extent we have only two options. Two options despite being we have only two options. It's either to let Barrow and his people to continue destroying the country, or we vote for UDP. That's the only solution.
Okay.
Those are the only solutions. Like despite the anything that is happening, any genuine Gambian, that's what we should think about. It's either to allow Barrow or to allow UDP to come in. And seeing the UDP, it's not like coming coming more often than so no. See the political structure. There is no political party in the Gambia. Like it's a more killing bondi no J. Ela party nyadonko like for the example, PDOIS ni Halifa bondi J modo party mula structure ni modo tije mi angka party lead no. GDC ama wasa kanda bondi modo tije mi angka party samano. Adam Barrow bondi modo tije, but UDP structure ko la jibe. Out of Usain Dabo, you can have 10 people mi angko they are capable. Especially this lady, member and size Oley. They are all capable. See the political structure. They are party that me and going to corrupt. So we have to understand the politics at this, from that angle. Let us stop thinking politics based on we understand other things me and are necessary. We are in a problem. We are in a trouble, very big trouble. The country is sinking. The evidence are there. Mano dawa kolearin, fengo beba kolearin, kurambuga soto. Fengo bele ka increase. I was in the Gambia, the December to January. November to January, I was in the Gambia. It was 1,200 and something. Before I come back, it was 3,000, 1,300 and something plus. So price control mantra, the country is really sinking. But we are doing politics based on things that are not necessary. We are having a president, me uncle, like he called people, tens of thousands of people. You sleep. We have to think from those angles. We are in a very big problem. How can I something is wrong somewhere? But the country is sinking, but people decided to talk about other things unnecessary. UDP was there for the Gambia for 22 good years. There is no political party candidates that travel in 96 to go and watch Olympic game. Uzendabo was rich. He was qualified. He was well educated. But despite that, I moved from Gambia fight alive. Is because of the Gambia.
Okay.
Up to this date. So, I don't see the reasons. Reason mantra, fendo mantra, Gambia knows our options are in our hands. Until there's a decision or make no. It's either Barobula continue Pinyarola wala nga mo UDP kabala. So, yeah, it's only, it's to that extent. And once again, thank you.
Yeah. Do you think, are you in any way in 2 weeks or men kanatang ibe alliance jalale in any way, bang?
Well, in politics, never say never.
Hello.
Hold on, because what you are insinuating is
in politics, never say never.
Never say never.
Yeah, Jumalaya London ko within a matter of weeks, Gano form alliance with Jame. Now all of a sudden, Jame and GDC, and now Gano is joining Barrow. So things the dynamics can change. You can see your rejecting, Niarel appeal or rejected. Definitely, they will have to find an alliance.
But,
all right.
But do you think this 6 they will completely be on the ballot?
Which 6? The ones that have been nominated?
Yes.
Well, I think so, except one. Mr. Jame, I don't know whether he would still go up to the day they put for this one. Maybe he could have a U-turn. It's possible. Apply Jame. But apart from that, I can see Mama Kanda is not going to back down. Halifa Sallah will not back down for sure. UDP is a no-no, and Barrow is a no-no. So
you think Esa will
Esa is not going to back down. So the only person they answer for possibly may go apply Jame. Possibly. Okay.
All right. Thank you, brother. Comment ni ajenga anyinyin kawala because iba for kanoko is 2 options them. Yeah. So
yeah, that's the truth. Now understand everything. Like come coalition in 2060, we all see what's happened after that. So obviously, like political mold they will never back down or they will never go to understand it for coalition. But that will not change the fact that we have only 2 options.
Tamsir Jase declared his support for President Barrow today.
Or Tamsir Jase?
Yes, you know what's the problem? Like
okay.
Yeah, most of these people, like, it's a mind game. These people, most of these independent candidates, rejected, they were already supporting Barrow. But this is a mind game that people play. It's to divide and conquer, create 10 or 20 different political parties or independent candidates to attract. Come again.
Because yalo love the calling love the more hakilo tempo la menna.
Yeah, caller, hold on.
It is not the yalong is a more tangible President Barrow endorse. Like nga Ganu jele, nga was something bad jele, Tamsir Jazi. With no disrespect, wala political weight is only Bibi Dabo Labang. So it is exactly it is sometimes not the number, but it is the quality of no member endorse. Because political ikomo na warata o yefego Bibi Dabo mu former vice presidency. Politically, Bibi Dabo is a cloud mention of Gambia. None of these people endorsing Barrow have that political. Bibi Dabo, Kiang is a political heavyweight in Kiang West. Yeah, I understand it. So some of these candidates, with no disrespect, maybe from all the family, people, they cannot even bring you 20 or 30 people. Yeah, I understand. Or even 50 people, they cannot bring you. So UDP are kind of apprehensive about all this independent endorsements. Let's look at today. Nim my Fati Nata. UDP endorsed. My party has been there, GMC has been there, and he has a support base in GMC. So I would value that more than Tamsir Jasi endorsing us. Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
Okay, caller, Mbebulala, thank you so much. Yeah, man.
Okay, thank you.
Kadu ila molu kamara mule last Sunday wafa ko new opportunity soto ya bula tata imam kola solta andu walum buke moynu wala tin
my internet was playing up a lot.
Yes,
hello Lame Damfa
Ibrahim na
yeah albe ngadi du korlantal
jam bismillah.
Yo monsieur Saidily konton la bindo be konton na bake alla kata be diarim bake la be sirim bal jibe la ngama ngana tam be fala ka jibe alhamdulillah kontan ta bake bay mem folam hadam moli UDP mu kafuleti me yalon ko ala mo UDP hana nyanku mere wona di am da be kala do ka kat amin keso la kana
okay
we mole ala tantu wala bake because ye kafo men soto yalon kafo me lawyer Dabo sansang
wala kumayata lo adaw mo kilinati je bar mol nyanta ka kafole jibe memba ascension wala yaye alhamdulillah ndenga ala tentu bakela nga korosiro ko bakela ndebe ndebe APRC la no long before nga ala tentu bakela kabe ngam fanje UDP kono bala ngal nako ni meta kelela ni meta kanne bakaw to lenga nyamo tay bari binte be UDP le bari ke bañi UD lo dabo nte ngalon junal ben kambe small boy ngalon na sare filam bande ngatalon bari même bije wala nyinti ko seku seli len kala programme jibe bak nke fanna programme jibe bak bari hani dinnim me so UDP na di am te da ka kuma keso la ya la nyim programme mo ni me ya di anya al di am ta jenna fal ya bang al ma NPP to moy je man ngamoy le baro bari ma NPP e word NPP ma moy je you understand so wo kanyi itan ko
Saidily na protocol na nim jiber la nim party na nim platform o taja BSC jan that's what you do you know inata kadiamu ila party toyala bam ikawala kacha so ntolu ya so thank you so much
when she won the back en kondan back Allah kola ala alonga kala kacha diata alla kacha shembora ambari muso men fana bora je
Oli
ba UDP no Oli ñulbe mu londi tolti no ala lombare muso tonya be kini
I was really happy to have ngo Saidily bira adundina ngonda ga chufaila bolo nin kaka
ay lecture na wala ke inteman Allah kumo bebetile bar UDP hana watmano nadi am de do ala agenda nyinga ka foila shene a set.
Thank you.
No, abarka baka ambarnal bula sang. Ala abarka baka. Saidily. Abarka baka.
Okay, abarka. Thank you so much.
Famala jan saying came back to back last minute lem. Kodo ke nge thank male be mine review la no about nying kola solo.
Yeah,
Aliam fa saying.
Yeah, abaraka bintu.
Yes,
thank you to you. Thank you to Kola Solmen Bay call Gembalten to Labake. In fact, I wanted to hear from our political opponents, young call, young challenge. I release challenges. But then na UDP family call, thank you. Maybe Labake, Kuma Kondol Membe for them. Therefore, made thank Labake because definitely you've always reached out to us. I've been here multiple times, but having somebody like Oley Dibba Wada here actually added a lot of impetus to this discussion. Like she didn't let us down, and I know she would not let. Oley is a powerhouse. She's a heavyweight in UDP, and Anatala joined the UDP. She's going down. She's always traveling through the upcountry. We can know about her. Deputy party leader about Jana. Nyomi Mafongola ya Kafudole Motabati. So she's going down the trenches. She's going to the hinterland or inner land of the country. She's definitely participating a lot, not only policy-wise, but also grassroots politics she's participating. So massive thank you to Oley Dibba. Mashallah. I come a so and I'm very happy the party leader.
Hold on, Janibe advice Kala. Let me say something, Janibita. We do reach out, Binto Media Network, come neutral Tanyame. We do reach out. We write to all the political parties.
Yeah.
We reach out to their political leaders. But Mandolu Soto is fine. We are grateful. But first, I want to send this thanks to UDP. I told you, Ali arrangement ke. No party leader soto jande ni momo so you can go down there.
Yeah.
Soto nun time soto tajang. Afele bi fanang Ali alla deputy senior administrative secretary dinna. So UDP mba folale, thank you. We are at the end of the road. So now we have to intermedia network mba folale ko Ali baraka.
Yeah.
And I told me fanang like you. Ninga reach out to Atul Fanang kana UDP members. But
thank you. Like Ntolu UDP, we can afford Nemo organization or soccer political party, media. You should not be afraid to face the media.
Okay.
Because if you have something to hide, balang, media, but UDP is well structured. We have our UDP media communication unit where you reach out to Amadou Skatajane, and then that message cascaded into that forum, and they will decide Jumal Lebitala. So we are very organized group. And Fema Benka Kacha Dumale in that media communication unit, and not only strategic policy, what a group of formal we engage constructively. So this is what defines United Democratic Party. And when membership of Fanan Kentula Baki. Oley Dibba Wada yalo UDP munyon tangoleti. Kunun na diaspora $1 million di party leader $7 million is. You will present donation diaspora la barkabage. New York chapter 2 million plus Seattle video kakudul be kafunyokan adata 7 million until UDP chapter fanang me back in a 2 million D. So UDP gas chapter also did the same thing. Italian chapter, Canada, even in a chapter from Taiwan. Can you imagine? All the way in Taiwan. I'm 55,000 AD. Canada when they are Cameraldi. So come Oley Dibba Wada UDP diaspora, UDP the Balulano, UDP reverse struggle in diaspora. Diaspora is the bread and butter of United Democratic Party. And among a Koroda Marty. Even at a contribution in terms of ideas, we always consult them, we always try to give them heads up. So may UDP dingol mele on the ground form, don't let them to la back because don't be a diaspora. In our comfort zones, sit down on your laptop or your gadget and contribute. Go to platforms, but many alongo will live on Korea from Taki, or million the foot soldiers, million the ground auto, million they are crisscrossing the length and breadth of the Gambia. That campaign you welcome to look at talent. Okay, so may tenturo boom for delay tolela. In election, the choice is clear. Like Kolameya for them, candidate will see as a body. Let's be honest. The contest is between UDP and NPP. Alinkana nyonene. Kola men for the Wallam Tonyati Mokane for Nene. This is like a 2-horse race now between NPP and based on the crowd based on the nominations, the contest. And Alaman Tankala, Nimma UDP Shoso, then we'll settle for Adama Barrow. But Adama Barrow la fete or down jele for these 5 years. As a voter, what jobs have he created for us? Yalong nkanyim follow all the time. Karte faila ika variable do lejibe. Do kuo binto mo niaje besila bunkono. Ila soto bunda lebe soneyari. Either you are employed or self-employed. Or ibe fansun business or la. But for itara fenna. In dunia kono for mo etaye employed. What if some business okay? What it depend on state support, and Africa don't state support because of the benefits because this system to Africa, So Gambia, mola doku nya it need to carte fire be bulu. Janiba file any of this candidate. Adama Barrow inanata moila diamu alani abitani rally menateng take a challenge. Adama diamu kabrala man sekunda sita percentage of job creation I have molie. He always talk about the reserves. Akaoda male for the economic reserves. But no president, and then manamo US president you see ako bring nata nga America reserves nga keten. They always talk about job creation, quarterly bulletins on X percentage of jobs nga create because banku dingol sulato do kola investors you attract investors in the country company ye do ko marsandiso la da Adama Barrow ye talk janne throughout itamo ila ya foko mani boto dabetene dulino dabetene jabo dabetene but Gambia musolu melkata marché auto wole ñille wol ite president doesn't talk about the prices of commodities ayin rally beke janne ay interview wol kele ala molu diamu ibuka mo ika diamu marché but bring Adama be campaign ko 2016 binto mo nekata la campaign rawati même mani boto daji ni la ke camera wora then when he was in the opposition Yaya Jammeh bi ako mani boto dasa but brasita sanje lulu Adama buka diamu mani boto dala. Foni journalist olu yanyininka. Today, before Adama Barrow talks about Usenu Dabo, Mbari Tayandilale, Warana Keba saying, Akebaya tela ala fenkol akanyinale. What Adama should be talking about is Musolu menkata marse auto. Marsandisol dabe jila nyade. Intela mansekunda be mon police le sambalana ka menso mano daiji. Dulino daiji, Jabo daiji, because this is the daily sustenance of Gambian people. Rice is our staple food. Gambia no ni o mamma no do ma halaba be tubabula na mamma no do ma camera man fendo mo. So this is a very big important issue. So Gambian voters all nyanta nyila jela security wise. Gambian all be for are we more secure today than we were in 2016. Near more nyenka tonya nimanke political Yaya Jame well ntebuka Yaya Jame support but under Jame Gambia security member je wotenyi all right na be ikajele mo stilikunte ba wolu ya for radio to musol rider tiol man nyapi mole kanga tata kodo kama bank iboyda ka yala kodota namanke nebo soldi wo mari la kodota dila today in Gambia broad daylight robbery like kaje but we have economic there meli alongo wala mandate is not policing economic world there they are primarily ka president wana la mulukanta wala on the near Adama Barrow je ka nyuma la jadala Senegalese troops like ajanyala Gambian soldiers don't go near Barrow for 5 years Gambia could not have a security sector reform. We think about things that matter to our voters. Gambia Women's Life Matter. Ikaje daily on social media musukari. Ika photo yellow karimam glove solman sotola pitanoto. There are no MRI scanners. MRI scanners before you talk of that. Even X-ray. Film sol from a X-ray niataka print. It is a challenge in our hospital today. Oley Dibba Wada ko bring alam bindano wuluta tata larangoto couple of hours ikay wuli je dole nyantana je ikaje larangoto mo fula mo sabakela. This is our Edward Francis Small Teaching Hospital.
I don't know if you malo for opportunity nga so soto nanjang ninkende ngodi amata mi yalon kala mo so wuluta afata because of generator brikama issue.
Exactly. Wakatale generator.
Okay. Well, I was not having that.
But Binto nganyina expect ko nyin candidate ol be ni tata Gambian voters ol nyin inte fauna kundingo be yamarela. Campaign period, let them talk about issues. Ye bonyo tesantela because new leaders ol like a lojang nga foko dindingol kana nendi okay WhatsApp audio to but ikaje kebal lela ni itala supporter ya de lota podium moto imang lawyer double reference. Okay, nibe lawyer double reference. I'll reference on his policy and a 5-point agenda. Kabiri UDP a 5-point agenda launch and a manifesto. Binto, I have never seen any MPP supporter challenge us on the 5-point agenda. Have you seen it? No. But in Yantan challenge la wala ila diamula le beka platform otole. Iko UDP la 5-point agenda we want to challenge. Let them challenge us on that. Yeah. That is what is going to elevate. Whatever Gambia elevate. But Ning Ahmad Bakar Law, for example, Binto, I was so disappointed yesterday. Whole tourism minister, akafo moye ko lawyer dawa manke honorability. Akafo ko kana kumandi buko honorable. Binto, what are we teaching our supporters? Because lawyer Daba was former vice president of the Gambia. Ahmad Bala Boss Lemati. His Excellency Lamad. He should always be referred to as His Excellency. Today, Obama ikafa President Obama. You understand it? He was president. He's not currently president of United, but you give him that title. Lawyer Dabo is excellent. So Ahmad Bakar Law, Kafomoleko, among honorability. Bingo, what are we teaching our supporters? So whether it's UDP, whether it's DOI or APRC, what? Alingana diamoke issue related. Mano, Seno Bunda, Jambando Sotola Nyadile, Ndola security, na fondikol bekara, na karambungol to, nitata Gambia karamo dolto Binto. You would not believe it. Even Kombode, Mambolon Konofo. Near classrooms all dolje, even na Bakau Mafon la Catalami. Bakau Primary School at some point, Bakau Nkolu Meme Diaspora, Ole Blue Kafunyoka and Kela Karamu, Kela School elevate. That is not the job of the diaspora. Diaspora, we are overstretched in terms of GoFundMe, Ning Alamantangara, Mola Freo Bantajang, Diaspora, like Blue Kafunyoma, political party diaspora. We shouldn't be responsible for infrastructural development of our schools. That's not the role of the diaspora. Mansakundala subvention also. But in President Barrow advised Nala NPP this time around, if it are taller, please let it not be about UDP. And no, Kartefai la nyanta nyina candidate itebuka issue for imanyana Kartefai. Ntede ninga UDP je ikatela bengolto. Ibuka fem forek barotem ibuka agenda fo ibuka diamu seno bundala ye difference o jele bri lawyer Dabo tatala tola aka President Barrow challenge on issues like he talked about the crude oil. That is an issue related, but in anata jela moyo wuli NPP melka keje ralil to UDP or Sipa. And then you get UDP, but disappointed. And this is not what I subscribe to. I subscribe to be part of a political party. Me alonko abe isu kumole for la member banko nafala. Because in political, the whole essence of this politics been to we want to augment the living standard of the Gambian people. Ngamera momo dunta jekakola. Because ni fansum kodol ninolom go and establish a business. You cannot be rich. Esafal is wealthy today, not because I am sort of political, because he worked for his money. He was a lawyer, an international lawyer, and a high-profile cases on letter. Wala na ala million or sort of oleto. Not Gambia government. Ni esafal tata Gambia government any million or sort of balona kaya sunyale because Gambia government buka mojo million or la for your kolisoto. So ni mo lafta kala kolitioti. Don't go into government. Go and establish your business. You know, you have your own business, then your profit so you live decent life, your business can do so. Government is there to serve the people. Neither vida do not government, you have to serve the masses. That is an extra plus, but not to be wealthy. You don't go into government to be wealthy. Thank you.
But I'm because sign up two sources, so we have to analyze some things. Yes, thank you. Yeah,
bye-bye.
Appreciate it. All right, thanks. Wow, aliye kachaje nyadile. Wonderful. Allah baraka. Kola solube. Sane point min keja. Ha, boku kachala de. Ba folal de. Isaje ko another 5 years. First akeno la constitution auto bang ning IEC. Ni be nyim fen ko lu konti la first la agent tol londino jeba. That will be it's a very good suggestion. Even Saidily from your support. UDP ala baraka. We are ending the show today. And Gambian old be Binto Media followers, lovers, fans all. Yal na mine. Lundo ni election o banta the first week. Na banta drom binala drom kalu tentu kal jeyi. Melaino yelala drom nganyo tentu nganyo jeyi. Alman nyonsot. We are not going anywhere. Nyinso nenete fonyola. Politico nenete fonyola. Gambia doku nenete fonyola. So until we are here for banku doku. Until that's what we are here for. Manko disot. Malon disot. But mfanasa contribute note and katol samba and katol lamoy. Nga banko we go forward. B nsafo President Barrow. Sama ni mansab do fananata. We continue with the person. Kununko President Jawara. Kununko President Jame. So mbe Barrow la time and do fananta fanan binala. So the work continues. The work continues mba continue as far as we ale so aniola and so assemble. So mbe content na la kal tentu kote kal jayi. Me congratulations o kila party leader be mini alon ko ye nominate le mini fanam man nominate it's not the end of the road akeda ko mo ko ite lo Johnson o to jang yemuru suo kon yeta dala sitiku ila dala le yong fata that's it. So andu ntenga korasi roga for wal manke kebati anyway imanke kebat. And we give a shout out to Dr. Cisse. Dr. Cisse, ala narrative political kononko debate challenges akabelik. So Dr. Cisse, this is not the end of the road. Mafoyoko, ila appeal is out. I'm just giving a shout out. Ngata Honorable Maifati Fanaya, we give him a shout out. You know. So independent Maresok atemu musolet. Because nendiruo femwo moma fema stop atata straight ayata apply yo nyindon fanam bije but na favorite long kamarati ngabra mama de kamaralo minda manat wala mundola patit mama ko la ngana epilogue. I'll give him a shout out. Tabora Mane mba fanang give a shout out. Isiata Bojang also tole na conversation oto kunung General Bojang altan na kunung conversation oto na diamutale life bira ya reject alseta no video to do maja ali conversation wala moy nga nga yankuba dabo fanan soto tole nga du ja soto je ninda bahla soke anina brother jay jalo na kunun show was great it was really great alsitali ofana so every Saturday betara janne your vote your voice wala bekala no soti woni na yin Sunday so fana is different but we are permanent, we will be here. Wow. Hey, okay, Mrs. Oley Dibba Wada. Mwah. Aliya tankinye. Saihou Saidily, a job well done. Atelier arrangement obeke. Ana enila timo, media timo UDP. Ngal tank. Mwah. So, alnga bao se no celebrate. Ala nyinjali ba donki lon to buka kutaya kontol mo.
Nandi bozembe doya dabunda, nandi aloya ma uteni abinyi bila dabo. Ulai bila dabo. Nandi bozembe doya dabunda. Nandi aloya ma uteni abinyi bila dabo.
Thank you.
Wakima julan, yakima juladabo. Sakandana ni wada anga barabara minna ni kado minna kono ni adre. Wala bara dobo ke moda man kuyala mune. Adla bara nyimbi dio da biya da nan na judo dabo. Nanji ko zembe do ya dabo. Nambi alo ama jeni akili juna dabo.
Congratulations, UDP.
Dunia juladabo. Alina kumu dunia dalam bali. Bini bora dobo ke modo nadia tezi wolia. Bila bora lagi bakar itu nadia da esbanaya. Boleh bansan lo lagi bakar itu. Bini bora numukun nada bodo nadia da simante adabo.